So, where we had last left off, our party had been 316 no-scoped by an owl that dropped one of our cars on top of another of our cars and rendered both practically immobile. The moth rolled a natural 20 to fix it, and you managed to drag your way through the forest, got some elven help, went through a weird-ass place, and got transported to a forest bordering Hollands. You see the city off in the distance. The land here seems a bit more intact than you would expect with the decaying environment, and you have a guess that it's likely that they maintain or otherwise provide like an upkeep to this place. So it's a bit nicer than the other decaying landscapes. What does our party want to do?
Well, shit, the city's right there. Let's get to it. I'm sure all of us want to get out of the fucking wilds.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd
back
rather
to
not be chased
civilization.
by giant bird creatures.
We're quite far away from where the attack happened at. I'd be immensely surprised if we had to deal with that again.
It's just shadow overhead.
Oh no.
Oh yes, the universe is back to prove me wrong.
I'm
Fucking
joking.
wonderful. Just kidding. Yeah.
It sometimes feels like the universe is just conspiring to prove us wrong.
Maybe
Maybe
we should
it
all
is.
take a brief moment to make sure that we didn't leave any of us on the fucking teleporter in the alternate realm or something. But after that, yeah, we should just go to the capital.
Everybody seems fine except for good old Darian who's just missing.
T-posing.
Nah, he's just gone. That
Interesting.
being
That's
said,
disconcerting.
So I'm gonna look around. Is that elf still with us?
you recall being the last person out, or one of the last people out. He basically like led you through a invisible doorway and did not enter through himself. He is not present on the other end of this realm.
He was in that tree network thing. I don't know what.
Well, we all made it through. He'll make it through too.
Preferably long after we're gone.
So, you all start your march towards Hollands with the shaking, rattling buggy behind us.
I imagine like both the front wheels aren't like straight up and down. They're like both at a 45-degree angle, and they're just wobble, 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 wobble.
Excellent.
Going to have to
This-
get that thing fixed.
There's
Going to
no
have to,
way this thing's gonna be street legal inside the capital.
going to have to pull some money together. Get another buggy too.
Sure, we can find jobs here to do. It may.
About 30 minutes pass until eventually one of you end up kicking what appears to be a plate nestled, buried in the ground, long covered by soil and grasslands, invisible in the surrounding landscape just because of the very nature of this plains. It looks to be some kind of buried armor plating, likely a piece of a shoulder covering for those various war machines. There was definitely a battle around Hollands, but it was long ago, and the things are either buried or physically removed.
Yeah, are you just going to examine it? Uh, how? What kind? So this is a plating for mechs and not power armor. Yes.
It is likely to be plating for a mech. Yes, it's too big to be mounted on powered armor. Are you wanting to unearth it or just examine it?
Mostly examine it. My character's too small to unearth it, and we have business elsewhere.
The surprising nature about this pauldron is that it has a like a remarkably industrial architecture, as opposed to some of the more royal appearance of some of these plates. Likely signifying that if this didn't belong to House Beldor, it likely belonged to a war machine of the Syndicate. That being said, you will continue onward. As the city grows, its defenses become apparent. There is a wall around the city, just kind of wrapping around this entire district. And it looks like there are breaks or openings in which there are roads leading away from this city. So it's likely that you will have to go through some form of checkpoint to enter Hollands.
Well, good thing I got my ID.
Mine.
Well, I have my papers too.
Some sort of paperwork on me, don't I?
Would assume so.
Yeah.
So, you all are going to approach one of these checkpoints.
I suppose so.
Yeah, we'll have to see how they react to those of us in the party that are obviously unregistered. As I look at 447 concerningly.
And what about
We'll be able
what
to
about
Go ahead.
what about Aspect and the mech?
Oh fuck.
Oh,
Because
Who's
apparently
ready
she's
for?
BB
Who's ready for a?
Stenhelm.
Who's ready for a bureaucratic nightmare?
I do have to wonder how they're going to react to us trying to bring a fucking war machine into the city. There's a strong possibility that him and Aspect might have to wait here.
Aspect, who currently has a finger underneath her chin, just goes, "We could stay outside for a bit. Wait around."
I'd hate to just leave you outside the city whenever we're so close, but how about this? I'm less worried about bringing you into the city than I'm worried about Doomtread. He is a very large, and from as far as they can tell, self-aware piece of military technology. He could incite a very violent response from the wrong person.
Yes.
Worst case scenario, they try to confiscate him from us.
Syndicate doesn't like AI, correct?
This is correct.
I'm
Oh
going
yeah,
to.
and Syndicate's not really fans of artificial intelligence. They might just try to immediately destroy him. And I don't know about you, but getting a bunch of people caught up in a giant robot fight doesn't sound like a good plan to me.
I'm
While they're
not the
talking about
biggest
this,
fan of
I'm going
artificial
to pull out my
intelligence
comm unit and
myself,
check comms.
but Doomtread has proven to be a valuable asset,
Well,
and we're on his good side still. So
regardless, we'll
It's
need a
not-
lot. So are mechs a commonly used thing in regular working societies, like industrial equipment, like power loaders and stuff?
No, typically things like that are handled by cranes or drones.
So there's not really like a
A
Halo
mech,
style like
specifically a House Beldor mech, is a machine dedicated to war.
I hate saying this, but I really can't find a situation in my head where we bring him to a checkpoint and it goes fine. They're not going to allow something like that to walk free in the city.
Levi, I'm gonna
Doomtread,
pull out my. Oh,
Go
they're
ahead.
going to think
I'm
we're
gonna pull out my comm
insurgents.
units and check, like, see if the comms channels are a lot
Sure,
more stable here.
We will get to that, but I want to
Okay.
resolve this conversation just before.
Okay.
Are there any maybe like as we've passed through into because right now we're at a checkpoint outside the city, right? Or we're like about to approach one.
So the way that this works, there are like outskirt, like posts, like small. I wouldn't quite call them slums, but it's essentially where people outside the city hang out, like
Shanty
small
towns.
shacks and mechanics. It's
Have-
not quite a shanty town because it's much more spread out. Like there's not much in terms of populace. This is more of like roughneck territory that kind of camps around Hollands. To get to the checkpoint, you'd have to enter like one of the industrialized regions, like going onto straight concrete and going into the city.
Have
So
we
you've got
pa-
kind of like a city outside of the city.
So I'm gonna turn to Aspect then, and I'm assuming Doomtread and her are both within earshot. I can talk to and hear both. of them from
Now that
distance.
you've mentioned both of them, they have approached the group and are now like currently a part of the conversation.
All right, like I said, I can't find a way to safely get you two into the city without starting something, and I'm gonna say to Doomtread, I say, now, you're in a very precarious situation. Whenever you're around people that aren't us, that don't know who or what you are, don't portray that you have higher intelligence than that of a simple VI. You're, from everything I can tell, fully aware and could be classified as an AI. To these people, that makes you dangerous. For the sake of your own survival, don't let people around you know that you think. Does that make sense?
It would be damaging to my pride, but
Well,
I can't accept this.
the absolute best case would just be simply don't speak. And if anyone is to ask what you are, we'd say that you have a basic piloting VI that gives you motor function. But unless we're sure somebody's safe to be around, we can't risk somebody trying to scrap you. it'd probably be more important to their safety than yours, but either way.
Wouldn't Aspect's shell be considered a thinking
would.
machine?
Well, the problem is she wears flesh. She looks human. So nobody would assume that she's not.
DM, I have a question.
Yes.
Because you've stated that I may have been to this city, could I do a check to see if they have, like, I don't know, things to find out if they're bringing in artificial intelligences or mechanical constructs into the
So you
city?
do know immediately, because you have had to enter this city before, they have like a fucking carport-sized checkpoint and certain ridges of these walls that are designed with sophisticated scanning systems. What
Tim
they
Tom.
do is they take your weapons, they check them, they mark that you specifically are carrying them, and they mark that you are entering Hollands. In addition to checking for contraband and bombs and various utilities.
Tim
Well-
Tom raises his hand. So the checkpoints are pretty big and they have really big scanners. Like I'm pretty sure like pistols and small caliber rifles or typical small arms are gonna be pretty okay. They're not too bad fond of boom booms, and I'm pretty sure I don't think we could get. I
So
don't
do you
think we
think
could
they'd
get
have a way of catching Aspect or not?
probably. I mean, I don't personally know.
Be right back.
I have never attempted to, smuggle in a couple of artificial intelligences, which, by the way, is actually a phrase I thought I'd never say before. But, here
Well,
we are.
Could sneak a few items in on my
I don't
person.
They have pretty good scanners. I wouldn't recommend bringing explosives into the city. A rifle, a pistol, some ammo is okay,
I
but
think I get the gist. But regardless, what I'm hearing is Doomtread should find somewhere outside the city to stay, and so should Aspect.
I would strongly recommend it. I don't know the capabilities of their scanners, but I
Maybe
think
while we're
I
inside the
don't
city, we
know
could
if-
probe for other ways to allow them in around the checkpoints.
I don't-
We've all been on the road for so long. We're in need of proper rest and recuperation. I'd hate to leave them in some old ruin while we all get to sit inside of the city in relative comfort.
Well, once I get a question answered by Levi, or once Levi answers Eli's question,
Oh, Levi's
There's
not
good-
here right now.
yeah, which is fine. If we get good comm terminals, I might just give Aspect my comm terminal and be like, here, if you need
That's
us,
what I
call
was-
us.
That's what I was planning, was give Doomtread, and I would assume that he has integrated comms we can just give a link to.
I mean, he's a military machine. There's
Yeah.
no fucking way he's not going to have some type of communications array.
I
Although it's highly
damage.
possible said array might be destroyed or broken.
That's what I was concerned about.
Which is
don't
why I was
think-
saying give it to Aspect, because she can fucking she's got fingers. She got fingies.
I mean, she could
I
be
don't think
ambidextrous
Aspect
too.
would be picked up on the scanners.
Levi, is
Levi's
Aspect
not
ambidextrous?
here.
Oh. Hmm.
So,
Right.
guys, how are you?
Shut up.
You in what?
Why do you always have to be so mean to me?
Because you ask stupid questions.
You talk too much, sweet.
Sorry, I had to make sure that all my ducks were in a row. If I do not change over my laundry immediately, they will throw it on the dog hair covered couches.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Whew. What were we doing?
Just arguing.
we were
about our
talking
options.
Yeah, we were arguing about our options, bringing up the fact that they have scanners that might,
Well,
not be beneficial to bring Doomtread and fucking Aspect in through.
Well,
And-
it is an option. This form isn't permanent, after all. I could dislodge it and leave it in our friend's care for the time being.
This wouldn't be a problem
And-
if this society wasn't so damn backwards.
Oh, I think we have made wonderful, social improvements. I don't think we're backwards.
Okay, well, we're getting off topic.
You
What
traded.
exactly would you do in the meantime for transportation? Would you be able to follow us as a pseudo mist, or would you find a new host?
Sort of in between, if you will.
Are you going back in the ball?
The ball is for a very specific circumstance.
I'm still not entirely sure what your composition is or how these scanners would react to it, or if they're even advanced to know a difference between.
You
There's
So
so
you
many
what?
questions.
I
have so
have
much
a
background
sense for
information.
these things. If you bring me to the region surrounding the checkpoint, perhaps I'd be able to tell.
All right, that sounds like a good idea. I would like more opinions on this.
And the status on the comms.
So you go ahead and pull out your comm unit, and the immediate first surprise is that you have a current notification.
Going to kind of peek at it, and
Its contact information reads as cat, and its message is, "Where the fuck are you?"
I'm going to snap off a quick message and say, issues upon arrival, they've been settled. I'm on my way.
All you get is a measly K.
I'm going to at least kind of smile a bit. I'm just going to look towards the rest of the party and just say, at least the comm connections here are stable enough. We could give whoever's staying behind, if that's the option we're taking.
Yari
So
just
they
going
won't-
to pull out his little tablet and begin searching up 447's homeworld and any information he can.
You can go ahead and make a. This would be a culture check.
Ah, I was hoping I could use computers instead.
I
Seeing
would
as
say
I'm
that even while you are proficient in computers, that does not mean that you are proficient in looking for the specifics needed to verify his homeworld's integrity or his people's like current status. Culture is also an intelligence-based skill, which would mean that's how
but
much
I'm
you're able
not
to root
I
or
have no
ferret out.
ranks in it.
That's my point. You may be proficient in like fixing computers or manipulating computer systems. You're not so good at ferreting information out of the web.
Yeah.
I'm also going to take this point to kind of, whenever I heard them mentioning scanners, I'm going to kind of pull Yarich aside and just say, you've been around the Syndicate. What particularly, or how good are these scanners able to decipher?
Depends on how well stocked this world is. From my current knowledge, it's kind of half and half. We might have a good chance that we could get past. There might be a good chance we can't get past.
Meaning what, if you're scanned, how deep do they go? Just equipment?
There's. It depends on the quality of the scanners they've been provided here, is what I'm trying to say. We
Okay.
don't.
And just out of topic, just kind of my implant, how, whenever I go ghost, is it meant to be stealthy to
Are you
scanners?
are you asking how your functions, like how your augs work?
Yeah, I was just wondering if it was like,
So
if it flips a ghost.
essentially, what it does is most of these emitters broadcast a signal to some broad like reading network that measures whatever magic capabilities you're currently utilizing. What your augs do is on command they emit a false signal that prevents people from realizing you are casting magic. So
Okay,
for all matters, these are pretty normal implants.
okay,
And they are pretty common. Not super common in the Syndicate, but they're common enough that they have like security features to find them.
okay. So if I go through, it just would kind of flag as a sort of like biomonitor rather than exactly what it's needing or what it is.
I mean, you come from a pretty prestigious family. You get a sense that if you go through a checkpoint, you're not likely to be bothered.
Okay,
You feel like if that was a genuine problem, your family probably would have put more money behind it.
okay,
All
sweet.
right, that's all our questions.
Mhm.
So as we grow close to the checkpoints, at this point, are you leaving Doomtread behind in the city? Like the city outside
I
the
say
city?
we take him with us and see if we can get him past.
That no,
I am
I
know about
disagree
that.
with that.
that is not going to
We
work.
just had a whole conversation about why that's a bad idea.
No, if we're about to move on, whenever we were walking past this area, did we find anything that might be like old ruins, abandoned buildings, something that we could hide Doomtread in?
There are plenty of, like, squatter buildings. Do you want
Something-
Doomtread to just hang out in a building full of random drug addicts?
No, abandoned as in unoccupied.
Like an
old
industrial complex
obviously
or
a standing structure that's not being.
Matter of
squat.
fact, detective, since you are so perceptive, why don't you give me a perception check?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not real good at those. Yeah, I got you. I'm gonna roll fucking shit anyways, though.
A 15. You
Fucking
take you take a matter of maybe 15, 30 minutes and eventually find a thoroughly worn down building with a parking garage that is just barely big enough that Doomtread can get on his like knees and crawl inside.
I'll look
Now-
around, see if there's any other suitable buildings other than this fucking piece of shit.
Go ahead and make a roll, and that will be an extra 30 minutes. Or
I'm
it's
going
free.
to assist.
I feel like that was mildly embarrassing, but it's better than rusting out in the rain. Well, okay, Val. You find a nuclear bunker.
Yeah, you actually find the killer robots buried
Holy
underneath
shit.
the soil. No, I'm just joking.
Okay,
But-
seriously though.
Baku.
You do end up finding some sort of almost Vegas-style collection of trailers and vehicles that wrap around in a vague circle. They are just high enough that if he were sitting, nobody would be able to see him from the outside. So you get a sense that this would be a pretty good hideout.
Yeah, we could set a base
And you
here by
wouldn't
these
have
trailers.
to crawl.
Yeah. This would be a much better spot.
You can tell that Doomtread is definitely happier that he doesn't have to, like, crawl inside of a parking garage and be locked inside.
All right.
Alright. We'll just leave you an aspect here. Well,
Well,
Are we leaving?
you aren't leaving me here. You
She's
are
coming.
leaving
She's coming
this
with us
here.
to assess the security of the city. To
Okay, fair.
To see if she feels that her presence would be picked up on and made an issue of.
So,
We'll see.
you all witness as the doll that essentially makes up Aspect's body vigorously kind of shudders and goes straight before it falls backwards and hits the soil. From all of the ports and dark linings in between those powdery plates, you see a dense black mist crawl along the ground before it encircles the party and dissipates. And at that point, Doomtread seemingly goes over and gently picks up the now empty doll form and just simply puts it down right next to him.
I just imagine when we get our ship, we're gonna have a little corridor filled with containers for her, or her wardrobe of just different bodies.
Hate.
Yeah,
That's
no,
what
I'm not
happened the
gonna
first time
lie,
we encountered her.
That's kind of disturbing.
yeah, I believe this is what happened the first time we encountered her.
Does she like just steal bodies?
I think so.
Because I'm pretty sure that's highly unethical.
It really is.
Just
Well-
Quite frankly, not positive how she works, so I'm not even gonna.
As
Fair-
far as I'm
fair enough.
concerned, she's some sort of foul demon that we're just stuck with for now.
I would not say
things
demon.
in life are not always so simple. Who knows?
That
But either way,
foul
let's put
demon's
that out of our
responsible
mind.
for you being alive.
Yeah.
Well,
At
regardless.
the very least, she's she's an anomaly to say.
I'm not gonna judge her. I don't care what she is. I wouldn't be around without her.
You
I'm not
fair
judging
enough.
her. I'm just stating she is an anomaly.
Most of you feel
very
a
kind.
cold shroud kind of embedding into your body, almost as if there were a ice-cold blanket kind of hanging around you. It takes a few minutes for that feeling to go away, but at the end of it, those of you that are using personal comm units and some means of, like earbuds, immediately hear a bit of crackling and a static and go, "There, I think I'm ready."
Well, that's convenient.
I have no
Alright.
means of communication when I'm not using a body. After all, no lips to make sound with, but your appliances will make do for now.
So what's the range on this?
Not too terribly far, but it will work.
Been a minute since I had a voice in my head that wasn't my own.
Comforting.
Tim Tom looks at him with like this very concerned look of, huh. Annotate it. Just pulls out his data slate, annotates down. 447. Prior history. Hearing
Mental
voices.
delusion.
Mental delusions.
Just
Must
building a
investigate
mental
further.
File.
Do I see him writing shit down after I said that?
I imagine he like perked up and started typing something, which kind of caught your attention, but you don't see him typing those words.
It's not medical.
Oh,
So, are we done standing around?
Yes, we are. We're going
Yes,
into the
let's
city now.
go. Yeah, let's go.
Going through.
Alright.
So I'm gonna wait until everyone else leaves, and I'm gonna say something to Doomtread before I head out.
He is currently sitting down and right now has a protective hand placed on the empty husk of Phoebe.
I know I don't have to tell you this, but don't wait around for us. If you feel like you have to leave, you're your
Something
own.
on your mind?
Can you hear me?
No.
What the fuck? I literally just said a whole goddamn sentence.
You're cutting out a little bit.
You sound like
Man,
Eli
I'm
right
pretty.
now.
So, I look towards Doomtread, and I say, I know I don't have to tell you this, but don't wait up on us. If you feel like you have somewhere else to be, you're your own warrior.
I figured that was already assumed.
I just...
That said, I can't leave her corpse here.
I understand. I just didn't want the others thinking they were entitled to you being on our side.
I
All right.
don't know if it was understood before, but Phoebe was the one I was attached to in life.
Lex Mechanic, of course. And I'm sure, now that I'm thinking about it, now that you mention it, must have been something between her and Volknir.
There was. Those things are history now.
Remember your history. Sometimes it's all you have. And with that, I'm going to turn and leave.
You join up with the rest of the party
Yep.
and are currently getting in line. Are you bringing the buggy with you?
yes.
Yeah, let's do that.
So,
We'll at least repair that.
currently 2 cars behind. There are a couple of people like just kind of staying in their vehicles and proceeding through the checkpoint. The way that it's built isn't quite represented by the art here. There's an actual port for the car to drive in and have slots to rise to prevent the car from leaving.
So kind of like from that one scene in like Cyberpunk.
Yes, absolutely. You guys are just kind of like waiting as cars are pulling up, and you can hear the speakers going like, pull forward and stop and various things. If you have anything to discuss before you actually pull into the checkpoint, now would be the time.
All right. So, before we do this, 447. Do you have anything on you that might prove who you are, what you are?
Dog
I know
tags.
it's a stupid question. Dog tags. All right, we need to come up with a cover story for you. I guess the simplest
Is
explanation would be
being
that
a
you
non-citizen so much of a problem that I might be detained?
The
Couldn't I-
syndicate is actually. So, can I do a quick culture check just to see how I think how tight is the syndicate on controlling and tracking population? Him being unmonitored. How many eyebrows raised? Do I think?
They probably would ask questions, but given that this is like a conquered planet, it's not entirely unnatural for non-citizens to be going through like syndicate cities.
Okay.
But they'd want to
Well-
know where he's come from and like what he's done to get here. And more importantly, like what weapons he's carrying.
Well, hell, you could just say that you're one of the townspeople of Gilead. After all, it's somewhere that you're familiar with now.
Not a good liar.
Well,
I always found the truth sets you free.
I feel like the
I
truth
have-
in this case would put him under a microscope.
Or in prison.
In prison
Well-
for what?
Wait, you're a convict?
No.
Would I know like particularly, like genetic experiments and all that? Are those illegal in the syndicate?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like unauthorized genetic experimentation, that is pretty off limits.
All right. Well, over
I'm just gonna
planning
make
might
that
be the
known to
wrong
the
way
party.
approach. Well, how about this? Let's just deal with it as we get there. We're planning and theorizing about, at least I am, about situations that might not even come to pass.
The loudspeaker cracks up and you immediately hear, next forward.
That's
The
us.
next car in front of you pulls forward and gets into the station. You are now just outside of the checkpoint. You will be the next in line. You hear stop as the car rumbles in and goes to stop, and they seem to be getting checked out by individuals in a fairly futuresque-looking gear.
Tim Thomas
In a black
humming
man
to
just
himself.
car and cop meals on him.
Aspect. What's the scanners so far?
From what I've been able to see, we should have no problems when it comes from my end.
Understood.
Any other chatter or conversation?
Nope,
Not really.
I just want to check
Eventually-
up on that.
That car is dismissed, and the next car, your car, is allowed to be pulled forward. So then there's the next in line.
Yeah, so
As soon
Tim,
as it-
Tim
Rocks in and starts shuddering while it's stationary.
Tim Tom gets into the little checkpoint area, hits the brakes, and you just hear the audible.
Yeah, you don't even hear stop, but the barriers, the barricade behind you raises into place. Two of these guards move over and just start looking over the vehicle. There's
God,
a
wait, what time of day is it?
right now it's about midday.
Good afternoon there, kind sir.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that you weren't carrying any unauthorized materials into Hollands. I assured. Sorry. I assume that won't be a problem.
Oh, of course not.
Shouldn't be for any of us, you know.
All I've got is my rifle and my pistol.
Oh yeah.
Rifle.
Weapons declaration. Most of us are carrying. How do we proceed with this?
Just give us a second.
Oh, my mistake. My rifle and my hammer. I realized I don't have a sidearm.
We'll go over it in a minute. You see that they are kind of looking over and checking out the vehicle. It looks like there is some kind of like sensor system above you that seems to be poring over the car. Occasionally you get little chirps from their own comm units, and they seem to throw over stuff that just kind of seems a bit out of place, but none of them are directly looking at you. Alright, our check went pretty well. I'm going to have the most of you step forward into our right cubicle and go ahead and register your weapons.
All right.
All
I'm
right.
gonna hop out of the car and I'll go ahead and be up first to put my weapon on the table.
Tim Tom looks over to the guard. Excuse me, officer.
Yeah, what's up?
I'm a bit scared to turn the car off. You care if I keep it running while I'm here? I'm afraid if I turn it off, it won't come back on.
Be good.
I got a feeling that even if you could manage to rumble that thing out of here, the barricades would stop it.
Well, yeah,
Well,
but I'm just trying to make sure, it doesn't.
You're fine. Go to the office.
Okay.
Tim Chatty
goes to the
type pussy.
office.
So, there appears to be an individual
Y'all
just kind of
reaches will
waiting
be
there.
behind
No
Tim.
weapons, but he currently has a desk and just kind of goes, Alright, one at a time, we're going to register your stuff.
We're on the line.
Alright. One by one, those of you that do have syndicate IDs, do you want to keep any of your weapons secret, or...
Nope.
Nope.
No, I'm gonna go ahead.
Tim
and
Tom's
register my-
pretty law-abiding, so he wouldn't keep any of his weapons secret.
Laser rifle. My 2 batteries.
I mean,
My mills.
I could maybe hide my fucking pistol, but like, would it be worth it?
No.
Probably not.
Yeah.
So,
The
you
smartest
all are
thing
going
to
to
do-
register your stuff?
Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah, it's just
then,
register it.
then we go on to the unidentify, the ones without IDs, which would be specifically Brian. As you go up and just kind of like start depositing their weapons, and they seem to be getting a bead, the actual officer here is just like, all right, no ID. What brings you to Hollins?
Traveling with my companions here.
For what purpose?
We're down a buggy. Need to buy a new one. We're also trying
Is
to
that all you're
see.
here for?
We're also trying to see if we can't hire a mechanic to go on down to Kiliad.
All right. Well, I'm going to need you to fill out some paperwork, if you don't mind. And he puts a simple slate down on the table and pushes it over, and it seems to activate, and it has an entire list of forms that you need to fill out.
Nothing I'm not used to.
Fair enough. I'll give you a second to complete those. So it asks for various means of identification, including, of course, your full name. What do you want to put there?
Huh. Well? Good question.
Personally, I feel like he's so in the mindset of not having a name, he would just put Seccaro 447. But that's just how I've read him so far.
Or go with, John Smith.
You know, can I skip that one and come back to it? For now.
So you go ahead and push onwards towards the secondary profile, which is essentially secondary means of identification, including other nations and IDs.
Okay. I mean, I guess I'll just list Concordia as my home planet.
Fair enough. You can go ahead and continuing on to some of the other means of filling it out and kind of going down the list. What is your skin color?
Oh, white.
Of course, you wouldn't mark that down. Then there's the other various kind of means of identification, until eventually you have everything done except for your name.
Well, I kind of think about it, and I understand that most people don't have a number for a name. So, I guess I'm just gonna kind of look down at the form and just, you know what? I'm gonna just write Douglas as my first name.
Douglas!
Are you going to put down a last name?
Good question. I'm not entirely sure. You know what?
Frederick. Brown.
Centurion.
Douglas
Douglas
Centurion.
Centurion. So you go ahead and finish writing out your name and hand it back to the dude, and he kind of pores over the information for a second until he puts down the slate and just kind of gives you a look. Your name is Douglas Centurion, and you come from Concordia. I know people want to take these forms as a joke, but come on, man, get serious.
If you insist, I'm gonna take the form back.
He puts it back.
And
on
I'm
the
gonna
table.
change my fucking first name to 447 and leave the last name blank. And then hand it back to him.
Tim
He
Tom.
receives the tablet and just... Oh my fucking god. Do you... I do not believe that your name is 447 Centurion. And that you come from Concordia. I mean, what the fuck do you take me for? Are we gonna be here all day, or are you gonna actually fill out these forms?
Are these like
If you
private
hold
booths?
on, if you want me to lie, I
This is a
can.
public booth. I mean, it seems you're pretty good at it from what I can tell, or pretty bad at it, depending on your perspective. So come on, give me your real name. We can continue forward. I ain't got all day. There's like 7 other patrons in line right now.
I have fucking tried.
Now I'm in the background trying to think of some racket of maybe saying that you're like my disabled older brother or something like that, and he's just not ain't quite right in the head.
Oh, Tim Tom kind of comes up.
They tried a little too hard to keep the
Hang
good
on.
genes in the family.
God.
I could do something.
Keeping
Tim
it
Tom's a
flat.
doctor. He'd be like, yeah, he suffered a massive injury. He's
You know,
fucked in
it's at this point I'm just gonna lean my head back against the chair and fucking just let out a bedraggled sigh. John Smith. Yes.
Oh my. Alright, look. I'm just gonna list you as coming from this particular city, alright?
I don't know what's...
Honestly, I'm getting fucking tired of you. So I'm gonna mark right here. Your city of origin is going to be Hollins, right? You come from Drovania. You're on Zeva 3, whatever, right? I'm about fucking tired of this.
My
so
homeworld is Concordia.
do you even realize what you're saying to me?
I'm not entirely sure what the problem is.
Give me a second. He gets up from his station and leaves the booth.
Tim Tom kind of leans over.
Keep in mind that this is like a main office, and there's basically a chair over next to a booth from which all of you have just seen this guy get up and like walk away.
Hey, 447, your name's Douglas?
No.
Oh, I like Douglas.
To you, I'm 447. That's it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm
Given his
fine with calling you
reaction,
447.
I assume something happened to Concordia.
Listen, Centurion 447. That's the name of a badass soldier. Doug is the guy that took out the trash in my old office. I'm not calling you fucking Doug.
At that, I'm just gonna say, right.
Right.
So about 15 minutes pass until he comes back and sits down. Alright, I don't know if you want to wait here or something, but my like upper offices are telling you to wait here for a bit. I don't know when they're gonna get here. They said maybe an hour.
Looks like I don't have much of a choice.
Do you have a vending machine in here?
We have one in the back, but it's like corporate. As in, you
Ah.
don't, like vend it with money, you vend it with credits.
I'm going to just kind of gesture towards, or like look towards the guard. Is there a problem?
Well, yeah, there's a fucking problem.
I'm just going to kind of get a little upset. Like, not like upset, just kind of get like a tired smell, or tired look on my face. Is it a problem concerning our friend's identity?
It's a problem concerning your friend's false identity.
I'm going to kind of... Would I know,
One second,
like off the
one
top of my
second.
head, from what
Y'all
I
just
know
gonna
of Centurion?
Go to his tablet and pull up all the previous records of all the technology he's been interacting over the past 3 weeks.
And do what with it?
I'm going to show up the fact that I was on this strange ship.
You're really gonna show
bad
him all of
fucking
that?
idea. Bad fucking idea.
So you just start like going through your computer and like blinking and clicking through tabs and just being like, I've been here, I've interacted with this kind of technology
I'm
and this.
pretty sure
and the
my
guys,
people. I'm being stopped by the others.
No,
before I
we don't know what you're
Even
doing.
still-
You don't say it out loud.
even still, while you're doing that, he's just like, the fuck are you doing?
Pulling up records. 1 second.
Records, right. Alright, well, I am thoroughly displeased with this entire encounter. You all can wait here, continuing on with your day.
And whenever he leaves, if we have a moment to talk without him prying into the conversation, like say, yeah, we really should have come up with an actual good backstory for you.
I don't know what you people want. I tried giving him a real name and that didn't work. I tried giving him my number, that didn't work.
I'm a little surprised the name thing was such a contentious issue. I mean, is Douglas really such a weird fucking name in these parts? This is a syndicate city, after all.
You'd have damn near any name.
As
and
far
they
as
probably wouldn't
Centurion
blink
goes,
an eye.
anyone can have their name changed. Anyone can call themselves what the fuck they want. I don't know why the hell Centurion's such a... whatever.
You seemed kind of hung up on the Concordia thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what's confusing me. I've talked to you about Concordia before. I'm somebody who has, I'd assume, an average level of knowledge, maybe even higher than that for a citizen syndicate.
Can I?
Hearing Concordia didn't set off fucking alert flags in my head like it did for that guy.
Hey,
What does he
PM,
know that we don't?
Can I Google Concordia?
You just say, like, what does he know that we don't? And the guy's just, like, sitting there tapping on his personal computer and just kind of, like, occasionally making throat noises. Like, he's just some random guy.
Yeah, this is just a dude. Why?
Hey, Levi,
What's up?
can I Google Concordia?
Can you give me a culture check, please?
I wanna-
27. What?
Oh, I'm not even gonna fucking bother. That's fucking stellar.
So, it takes you a while to recall, but it is a part of, like, ancient history that Concordia was one of, like, the founding factions, the origins of the Syndicate. That and a few other, like, republic-based nations that came together and formed, like, this entire civilization.
Hmm.
So, using Concordia, it's kind of like saying, oh, I came from, like, fucking Rome.
Tim Tom walks up to.
I mean, Rome
447.
is still a real city.
But I'm
Yeah.
saying, like, I came from, like, the fucking Greco-Roman. I came from the Roman age.
Yeah,
I came
so
from the
Tim Tom-
from Imperial
Tim Tom
Rome.
walks up to 447, like with it on like that wiki page, and he just hands him the wiki. He just hands him the tablet on the wiki page.
Is the planet still inhabited at all?
Concordia itself is
Yeah.
not being used as an inhabited planet anymore.
Why not?
So I'm reading through this info about how Concordia was one of the founding powers that became the Syndicate. I just kind of slowly hand the tablet back to Tim Tom. And you didn't think to tell me this sooner?
Honestly, I had heard that name before, but I didn't exactly know the significance of it. I had heard the name in the past, I just didn't know where it lied, so I just decided everyone's caught up on Concordia, so I Googled it. Or not Googled, their web browser search, Ethernet search, I don't
You
fucking
search it
know.
up.
Boogle.
So I looked it up. I looked it up on Google.
Boogle.
Yeah, Boogle.
Fucking hate it, but okay. So, you all are going to wait for like 15 minutes?
I guess so.
Yeah.
It is not long before what appears to be a few more cars pull to this depot, and a handful of just like officer units just start getting out. A lot more like border checkpoint people.
Oh boy.
There are a detachment of individuals and just kind of like I don't even really know how to describe them. They're not fancy outfits, but they're more like designated officers of like this sort of PD.
They're suits, basically.
They're not necessarily like corporate agents. They're more just like people higher up in this particular like border checkpoint department. But they end up making their way into the office and just kind of start definitely asserting their presence. Like there are officers kind of coming in through the doors, headed by these leaders. But they stroll up to 447 and immediately are just like, so, I heard there's some kind of problem here. Rookie over there kind of filled me over the phone. What's going on?
Apparently, the fact that I'm from Concordia is some kind of problem.
Well, you can't use false information in your identity.
I wasn't, but if you want me to lie that I'm from here to get through this faster, I will.
You're being completely serious to me.
Do I sound like I'm joking?
I mean, if you want, we can go through a drug test and make sure that you're not hopped up on anything, but, I don't know, you seem pretty assertive.
I'm not under the effect of any psychoactive substance.
Tim Tom raises his hand. As a medical professional, I can concur to this diagnosis. He is not on any sort of drugs as far as I am aware.
And do you realize how stupid that sounds, right?
I can tell you this. This is true. I entered this planet through Kiliad. I came from there, if you want to know where I traveled from in specific.
But you're telling me, like 100% certainty, that you yourself are from Concordia, a planet
Yes.
that is not inhabited, a dead world.
Hearing that come out of a human's mouth, I, kind of clench my fist. It was inhabited once.
I mean, that's ancient history at this point. Are you telling me that you're from the past?
I'm just I'm going to look at this and I'm just going to say the universe is a strange place, and there are facts that, like, I'm just going to mention stasis. One of the reasons why we had a little incident getting down onto the planet, but he is speaking the truth.
You
It's like my
hold
day
on.
just got a little more interesting.
Would I?
Were
Found
you
stasis
able
on
to
a
pick up the
shipwreck.
readings of the anomalies above the planet surface about 3 weeks ago?
Oh boy.
I don't know anything about that. I'm sorry.
These are checkpoint guards you reach.
Quick question, Levi. Off the top of my head, would I know if I as a member of House Despath, if I put, someone just kind of under my wing with this,
I'm just gonna shake my head if you want me to put something on that for Kiliad.
I mean, at this point, I'm just kind of thinking, like, I mean, if you're being completely sincere, we've got to run a couple of tests, make sure that you've got a truthful testimony, and then we'll get you to talk to some people. Does that sound good?
What people?
I don't know yet.
I still have business here.
No, that's fine. We're just going to do a couple of tests first. That sound good to you?
As long as I can manage to get back to Kiliad with a new buggy and a mechanic.
Tim Tom raises his hand. Excuse me.
What's up?
These tests are, if they are involving any in any sort of medical nature, since currently I am their current medical provider, I do insist that I be involved with this situation, so to ensure that no harm can come to my patient.
If you want, you can go ahead and make a diplomacy check.
-1, let's go! Natural 2019! And in doing so, he pulls out his tablet and pulls up like a medical record card that he made when he received 447, basically documenting that he was under his care.
Well, it's against regulation, but I don't see the problem with it. All right, let's go into the back here.
All
I ain't
right.
going to be running the tests, but we've got people here.
So seeing that Tim Tom, who at this point I've gained a bit of trust for, is coming along, I'm a little more at ease and I follow them in.
So they go ahead and put you through a couple of like very rudimentary, boring things. Like they have this lady doctor that runs with you through some of these procedures. Like they've got to take certain tests of your bloodstream as well as other fluids in order to make sure that your body isn't compromised by any kind of alterants, any kind of hallucinogenics or drugs.
No.
However, the point of interest is the full body scanner that they provide about midway through. You are brought into a small, it's almost resemblance of a tube that has to bring down a particular shielding in order to provide whatever protective measure it's towards the people actually taking the scan, similar to a radiation. But after maybe 2 or 3 minutes of being propped up in this tube like a fucking lab experiment, you start hearing weird sounds. And in particular, Tim Tom, you see that the diagnostic panel that is taking these readings are coming up with like errors. and things that it is not capable of picking up. But it does pick up a broad range of military-grade augmentations, most of them being cybernetic.
A thing I do want to point out in 447's like medical file that I have on my thing, I am. Would there be any way I could assist the doctors in these tests to a certain
You
degree?
can if you want.
Cool.
Be a medicine check. You aren't trying to alter any of these things, are you? Because that would
No.
be ugh.
No, not alter any of them. Just assist with and like take records because good doctors take records.
I'm probably speeding up the process a bit.
You do end up speeding up the process. There are a lot of things that 447 isn't very comfortable with, and you do end up getting a fairly detailed medical assortment. You know what kind of stuff he has buried underneath his skin, aside from some of the strange errors. That being said, on the last test, which appears to be some form of psychoanalysis, it seems that they are getting a lot of weird things from 447, being that he is a tool and a soldier that is not used to lying. They're getting a lot of stuff that differs from the regular profile and puts him more into machine psychopath territory.
Nice.
Tim Tom's annotating all of this down.
What kind of questions do they ask me?
Just kind of broad range psychology tests, trying to merit out your psychological profiles.
What does this ink blob look like?
I wouldn't quite say it's like that. It's more like establishing a vibe check, but in professional terms.
Okay.
I don't know in particular how a psychological profile is performed,
Fair
but I know
enough.
they're fairly detailed sessions in which they explore some of the basics of your psychology. So, at the end of it all, Centurion is returned, and what you all get from this experience is that I'm going to have to pour through a majority of this data, but a lot of people would love to see this.
I want to point out when we're done with all of that, Tim Tom rummages through his bag, pulls out a lollipop, and hands it to 447.
I take it and turn it around in my fingers in front of my helmet. Then I put it in my backpack.
Excellent.
You were a brave boy.
Oh, thanks.
By the way, I need you to sign this.
Okay. Well, what are you making me sign?
It's essentially a doctor-patient confidentiality form.
All right.
Stating that I can't tell anyone else what I've, medical stuff.
I shrug my shoulders. Very well, doctor.
Right, well, with that established, this information will be useful to a broad range of people, but it will take a few days to have this uploaded to any major corporation. That being said, I am sure that the chief here could probably direct you towards some temporary means of residence while you await your results.
So we're being detained.
I don't know anything about that. You'd have to talk with the chief about it.
If I'm being given a residence that I'm supposed to stay in and not be able to leave, I'm being detained.
And I don't know anything about that, I'm sorry. And at this point, this dude kind of walks in. This isn't a detainment per se, but we would prefer it if you did not leave city grounds and have a few things carried on your assortment.
That's fine. I have business here in Holland for some time anyway.
Right, well, the doc's got to get that info updated and sent to the relevant people. That being said, we'll go ahead and accept your profile for now, 447, but be certain that we will be in contact with you, or rather, the appropriate individuals will be in contact with you.
If that's what you want.
So, yeah, that's about it. Suppose you can go ahead and get out of the office. Got a few things to give you first.
Yari,
Very well,
in the
officer.
meantime, got bored and started playing a puzzle game on his.
He's just playing
phone.
Tetris.
Excellent. So they go ahead and
Poppy
issue
just
you
kind of looking
a.
around, just
They do issue you a temporary ID with, again, 447 from Concordia listed on it. And they also go ahead and give you what appears to be a comm unit of your own. However, it does look to be government property.
I thought I've
so
always had my own comm unit.
Have you?
Yeah, I was able to talk with fucking
Probably-
Ankos whenever he infiltrated the manor.
Who
Probably
gave
one
you a
that's
comm unit?
ridiculously out of date.
I would assume it would have. I thought fucking Stu gave me one with all the other like armor
Right,
and
right.
weapons.
So in that case, because I wasn't aware that you had a comm unit given to you by Stu, instead they do take your contact information and do kind of ask for it. That way they can go ahead and perform some things. That way they can get a hold of you whenever it's necessary.
All right,
Sounds like
I'll consent to that.
All right. So at the end of it all, you all are allowed past the checkpoints with relative issues considering the whole Concordia mishap, and you enter Hollins. What is it that you all wish to do now?
Well, that was a little
I'm
more
going to
trouble
take
than I thought it would
the.
be.
I'm going to take our
I'd like
vehicle
to find
the
a
mechanic.
I want to find a mechanic.
My
Me and-
God.
Me and Timothy is
Oh,
on the same page.
And before we go, I am going to talk to 447.
All right,
It really
go ahead.
stings me to know that pointy-eared bastard was right.
Look,
Well-
I'm sorry to hear that about your home. That I don't imagine that's a good thing to come up with. You know, if you ever need someone to talk to, I do have a couple of semesters in psycho care, so I'm really good at listening. I'm not really good at talking myself, but you know, if you also want to discuss some of the medical information I got, you know, we can go over that. Or if you just need someone to talk to, you know, just hit me up. I can help you out.
If you feel like there's pertinent medical information gleaned from those tests that I should be made aware of, I'd like to see it.
Well, when I get done bringing the buggy, and he looks back, is like a hub falls
Given
off.
that I've been in preservation,
Sorry, putting it back on.
given that I've been in stasis for 1.5 thousand years, if there's any medical information that could clue me in as to the nature of any degradation I've suffered, then that's something I'd want to be made aware of. I'm going to
And
need
he's kind of like,
to heal and regenerate myself.
and Tim Tom kind of looks at it, it's like, well, to be honest, some of these augmetics are way above me. I am not really good with cybernetics. I'm more good with putting people back together, but I can give it a look.
So with
Right.
your previous your previous medicine check, you would understand that he has suffered severe, like, muscular atrophy and nerve damage.
Oh,
There are signs of, like, permanent severe internal injury that is sourced from some kind of, like, toxin.
well, it looks like you do suffer from potentially permanent nerve damage, muscle atrophy. Some sort of nerve toxin went through and gave you a real good rattling. I might be able to get some medication that might be able to help you, or I might try to look into things to try to help fix that problem.
Toxin. You mean I'm poisoned now?
But would I get the sense that he's poisoned now, or is the lingering effects and like the after damage of a very virulent neurotoxin?
These were pretty thorough tests, so you do get a sense that he is still suffering from their effects, and like that toxin is still present in his system.
From what I can tell, the toxin is still in your system. Probably not nearly as virulent as when it first entered your system. I don't know. I'm gonna. Later, when I get with you, I might have to do a blood test to try to isolate the type of toxin that it may or may not be.
So, is my life in danger? Am I on a timer now?
DM, would I know that?
You get a sense that somebody experiencing something like that likely is not going to live as long as a typical man, but he's not on like a 3 weeks timer.
Well, you're not gonna be seeing your twilight years, but I don't think you're gonna kill over dead tomorrow.
It's all right, Doctor. No
I
centurion
can't.
lives to grow old anyway.
Again, I'm gonna have to do some more tests and actual. I mean, they did pretty thorough in there with some crazy equipment I haven't seen in a
Well,
long time.
I suppose
But-
I'll have time to flush that toxin out of my system, regrow my muscles, find my nerves again, get back to what I was, just as long as I
Maybe.
don't die in the matter of weeks.
I don't think it's gonna be that soon. How? Tim Tom looks at your medical records. Is there an age on the medical record, not 1,500 years old?
There are speculated ages that list him being around maybe from like his mid 30s.
Human, right?
That's definitely not like actual age, but that is like speculation from their medical exam and like the extent of the damage from his organs.
Well, I'm gonna say you're probably in your mid 30s, unless you know how old you are, just through time not spent in stasis.
Well, I wasn't exactly born, but
Oh,
after activation, I served for about 25 years.
well, 60 at the best, to be entirely honest. I mean, that's probably at the best.
Most
And Levi, I'm going with,
most of my kin die far sooner than that anyway.
and I'm using like real modern day average human lifespans. But again, once I get the car taken to the shop, I'll get. And by the way, Tim Tom's taking 447, is talking to 447 in private.
Of course.
Uh,
You're gonna take the buggy to get fixed up after this?
yeah.
All right.
Yarish will be accompanying him because
I'll-
he wants to see this thing
I'll go
fixed.
with you. We need to talk to a mechanic anyway, see if we can get another buggy and maybe see if we can hire a mechanic to move to Killian.
As you guys do this at some point, I will be doing my own thing.
All right.
Likewise, I'll be kind of being off on my own doing some things.
All right. So, you guys go ahead and take this buggy to a shop, and it immediately breaks down as soon as it hits the mechanic's doors.
I just imagine it just falling apart instantly as soon as it stops.
Yeah. It's like those fucking things where they stop, the doors fall off, the fenders fall off, everything just starts falling off. It's like Tim Tom gently pets it. It's like, here, little buggy. You made it to the car, doctor.
This grease-covered dwarf who just kind of seeing this car rattle into the garage takes a moment with one of his large arms, kind of just smears over the sweat on his face and says, "I think you've got a problem."
Oh yeah, I wasn't quite like this. What was it? Yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, I don't really know.
No, I'm asking the DM. The bird dropped it yesterday or last night, right?
Probably.
Well, it wasn't like this last night until a big ol' owl dropped another buggy on the top of it.
It's talking like a big fucking owl.
A big. I don't like using
about-
profanity. A rather large avian creature. Yes.
About
Big fucking
3
owl.
times bigger than my friend here. Pat pat. On
That's the
Timby.
side of my thigh.
Yeah, alright. Give me maybe an hour. I'm gonna look over it. Maybe give you an estimate.
Before you
Hey,
begin,
I assist.
would you happen to sell any vehicles or know where we can acquire another?
Do I sell vehicles? No, I don't. This is a mechanic shop. I do happen to know I've got a friend in the court business. He may be interested in selling you something.
Very
Maybe
well.
I give you his card.
I'd like to see it.
Yeah, sure. Like I said, about an hour. Go have lunch or something.
Okay.
I will
Very well.
take me a look-see. And he goes ahead and moves the goggles down to kind of cover his eyes. I'll
So
get you that.
as we're leaving, and he is going to check on Tim Tom's buggy, I'm just going to remark, well, He seems rather confident.
Like him.
Well,
Like
and Tim Tom looks down at Yarich. I mean, in truth, if we had an actual shop, I'd just probably try to get Yarich. And Yarich looks at, or Tim Tom looks at Yarich, and he's like, has Tim Tom ever seen one of these little moth people before?
No.
Well,
Huh.
Yarish and I repaired Zessie's buggy pretty effectively until it got turned into a hockey puck.
Tim Tom looks curiously when you say the word hockey.
Oh no.
Phantom mode activated.
I returned your gaze, unsure of why you're staring at me.
Okay, so a puck. Cool.
You saw Zessie's buggy, right? It's completely flat.
Yeah.
Whatever. We have a dealership to visit. See if we can replace that buggy.
Oh, okay, yeah. I am a terrible salesman.
I imagine none of us are going to be able to get a particularly good deal, but we should at least see what they have on tap.
All right. So you go ahead and read the information on this card. It looks like he is recommending a specific car salesman.
I'll be back.
In particular, you don't get any hint of like race coming from this name, but it does look like one of those slimy dealers. His name is Dressdell, and he heads up one of those like famous car corporate.
So
places.
upon reading that name, I'm just gonna say, I don't know why, but that sounds like a Sal Tegris kind of name.
Tim Tom looks at you, is like, that is racial profiling, good sir, and that is
Damn.
not okay.
So?
Oh,
Oh. Oh.
Yarich
So-
just kind of
My name is a
tilts his
number.
head.
My name is a
Fair
number, and you're a bear named Timothy.
yeah. What a weird world we live in.
So within 15 minutes, you've made it to this particular car lot. There are a variety of vehicles here, all of them very, very nice looking and out of your price range. But after entering his office, which is concealed inside of one of these buildings, keeping in mind that like right now you are still in the outskirts of the city where like all of the high-rise buildings aren't present, so it looks to be one of those nice fancy like two-store building like office with corporate fucking bullshit on top of it. That being said, you do catch the attendant's attention and go ahead and meet up with this Dressdell, who, in this like very tacky looking suit, you get an immediate like this is a full-blooded human.
Okay.
However, his suit's a bit like very fake looking, and his hair is like slicked back with a very cheap like grease or
Fucking
oil.
stereotypical fucking
Used car
perfect
salesman.
used car salesman.
This is what I come back to. Oh boy.
I'd like to sense motive to him immediately.
Oh yeah, that's you need to watch this motherfucking dude.
He looks greasy.
He hasn't said anything.
He hasn't said anything to you yet, but he is. As soon as you like stumble into his office, because the attendant is like leading you here, he was on the phone with somebody, but quickly like silences them and springs up out of his chair and goes, "Hey, always glad to meet new people. What's going on? You all looking for a new ride?"
We had
Yes.
a buggy that was destroyed on the way here.
Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that. Tell you what, I've got a couple of vehicles that might be right up your alley.
Let's take a look.
Sure,
Yarich-
sure. Take your time. Feel free to look at the stock, get a sense of what we got going on.
I'm
All
not
right?
Tim-
promising you
Tim
we're going to
Tom
buy
reaches-
anything right away. We just want to see what's on the table.
No, I'm not trying to push or shove anything. I just, it's my job to show you guys all this stuff here. So, what you all looking for?
Tim Tom reaches down and
Preferably a buggy equivalent to the one that we lost.
Well, what kind of buggy did you lose?
I kind of scratched the back of my helmet.
Looks towards Yard.
I look towards your reach and Tim Tom.
Yeah, what kind of buggy was like? It was more like a off-roady.
It was a very typical like off-road exploration buggy that was made for like scavlands.
You know, your
Off-road.
typical scavland off-road buggy.
Oh, you're talking about like off-road shit, like straight up like utility and no real class.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just out of curiosity, how much you looking to spend on something like this?
So I'm gonna look towards your reach and Tim Tom again. How much was Zessie's buggy worth?
Yarich is going to lick up
Tim
his
Tom
forest
looks at
arms.
Yarich, looks at, just shrugs his shoulders.
I am
How
not
much
the
did I spend on
economist.
mine?
I may be smart, but I'm not smart in the economy.
How much?
You got yours for like a pretty good deal because it was like a family discount essentially. You had known some people there.
Mm.
But you had gotten it for around 850 credits, and that's like with family discount.
Right.
This was like a person-to-person deal, not like a corporate lot.
Yeah. We're probably gonna spend a couple thousand credits here, not gonna lie. I got my buggy on the cheap.
I'm gonna look back to the salesman. Let's say 1,000 credits.
1,000, huh? All right. We got a couple of used deals we could go look at if you're in the 1,000 range. That being said, don't mind if we skirt through some of the fancier looking stuff just in case you pick up any creds and are looking to accentuate your personalities. So he leads you through. First is kind of like on the way, you pass by what looks like a lot of nice cars. And in addition, at the very end of the line, he's making like small quips and just going like, it's got heated seating too.
So
Keep that in
seeing
mind.
that none of these vehicles are, I assumedly, at all rugged or have mounted gun emplacements, I look pretty bored.
Excellent.
I'm about the same way. I'm looking for something more along the lines of functionality and not.
Yeah.
Utilitarian.
Tim Tom loves his buggy. Like that's
I don't see anything
His
that has treads or cannons or guns here.
So he kind of catches this very much disinterest, and you can see a smile starting to grow on the back of his face as he reaches towards the end of the
Back
line.
of his face.
Like is the full face smile. Maybe I worded that a bit weirdly.
I'm just imagining there was a guy I read about who actually had like a vestigial chimera face on his neck.
That is
So, I mean-
horrifying.
No.
Hey, would my sense motive apply to this dude now? Like, to see if he's just a slimy motherfucker?
He looks like he is trying to interest you in some of the more upper region products, but he is kind of like, maybe I've got him with this one. And as he reaches the end of the line, you see a very like rugged, utilitarian looking bike. It is definitely a like motor
bike?
vehicle. It's not like you're pedaling it, but
Okay.
he just kind of like reaches into one of his fake suit pockets and pulls out a set of keys and just goes, "All right, I see that you aren't interested in most of our current stock. You want something a bit more, I don't know, useful for something like your careers. Don't tell me you don't work in the mercenary business. I see your armor." And he goes ahead, and as he's striding beside one of these things got a full anti-spy kit, including an advanced stealth technology that allows it to vanish into the shadows. And he clicks the keys, and you watch the bike make a very subtle, dark beeping noise. And then this sort of like shroud folds in over it and makes it completely obscured. It's only a list of some of the more advanced kind of vehicles that we carry here. That being said, it's a very pricey vehicle. I doubt it's anywhere in your range.
Any integrated weaponry?
You a cop?
No.
Maybe we'll talk weapons later.
I can
Tim
tell.
Tom
Go on.
like has a sudden realization of, oh no.
I can tell, of course, that this is quite out of our price range, but
Oh, definitely.
I-
I'm just taking you through some of the fancier toys. It's kind of the perk of the job. You know?
hypothetically, if I were to buy this, how much would it set me back?
Well, its running tag price is about 1,400 credits.
So 1,400.
Oh no, forgive me, that was a turn of phrase. About 14,000 credits.
Oh, I see. Of course.
That being said, if you were looking for weapons, that could easily bump the price. Just soar, skyrocket. But I'm sure people like yourselves, you got money, depending on what missions you take. Keep me in mind, Trestel. I'm sure you have my card.
Let's
right.
let's see the
So-
buggies.
We're back here. We got some of these off-world scrap vehicles that they try to pawn off on us. Most of the time, they're not very useful, but they got some parts. Some of those mad mechanics tend to stumble upon weird shit out there, so we break those apart. We take a look at them.
Yeah,
one
we're
of these
just
that we
going to
got is
begin
in a-
judging heavily. He's going to judge each one of these more off things, off kilter vehicles a lot more heavily. He's actually starting to get invested.
Yeah, no, as you go through and he's kind of talking up a lot of these, you kind of like shake your head at some of them because some of them look pretty like thoroughly damaged, especially for the price that he's asking, until you stumble upon one of the last in the assortment, a fairly standard looking exploration buggy. No real damage, only a few dents here and there, but it looks a bit nicer than Zessie's buggy. Not
May I
that much
open
nicer.
the hood?
Oh, yeah, sure, no problem. Let me just, the fuck do you unlatch one of these things? And he kind of reaches over and tries looking for something underneath the hood, and then eventually you see that he cuts himself and immediately, like, wrenches back his finger and just goes, ow. Alright.
Tim Tom pulls out a band-aid. You care if I take a look at it, sir? Don't worry, I am a professional doctor.
I'm sure I'm fine. I appreciate it, though. That being said, you do take a look underneath its hood, and you find that it is a fairly appropriate-looking vehicle. Asking price is about $1,000.
Alright. I think between how many of us there are, we could probably pull some credits together and take this thing off his hands, give it back to Gilead to replace the buggy we wrecked.
Sounds good. How many people do you have in your party, might I ask?
Kinda think about it for a second. About 7 or 8.
Well, you tell them to all keep Drestel in mind if they're looking for vehicles of interest. I know that you weren't particularly excited by my stock, but I do run a bit of an offhand business that we may be able to take a look at later.
We're going to have to reconvene anyway. Thank you.
Make sure you, like, keep in mind, no cops.
I'm going to list.
I squinted him behind my helmet. Right. Then, I guess I'm gonna fucking leave.
So, as you're all leaving, he kind of does one of those double finger guns and just goes, Drestel, keep me in mind.
Hate.
So, as we're leaving,
Leave the depot.
you know, I've never been inside of a fucking car dealership before. So, I just say out loud, what do you call that kind of man?
I look at him. Soulless automaton that tried to steal your hard-earned cash.
I see.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, we could continue looking through like a dealership or space Craigslist.
It occurs to me,
Craigslist.
maybe Stu had, or Zessie had some kind of backup plan in case the buggy was destroyed.
Didn't sound like it. He talked about it.
I mean, if it was so important to them, Out of character, I don't know what car insurance is either.
Wait, what?
At least I don't think I would.
I mean, you're a fool.
Yeah.
Also, I might have to keep some of my credits because I gotta pay for the repairs for my buggy.
Well, given that
Speaking
your
of-
buggy was wrecked on our mission, I'd be willing to chip in a little to help you get it fixed.
Don't know how much I can chip in, but I can probably chip in some.
They don't let the moth have any money.
Well, I'm
I only
thinking-
have 65 credits.
Hold on,
Oh my
let me check something real quick.
Are you gonna go back and check on your vehicle?
Yes.
So whenever you come back, that dwarf is kind of like tucked underneath it, and just as soon as you roll through, he scoots back on one of those boards and just goes, "Yeah, no, you right, fucked this thing. Did you go talk with Drestel like I said?
We did.
What did he tell you?
He has at least one other buggy for sale for 1,000 creds.
Keep an eye on that snake. He's liable to fuck you. So
I got that impression.
that being said, he's one of the better dealers in town.
Better dealers?
Oh. Yeah, no, there are far worse. Trust me. There's a reason why I work with him as opposed to others.
Well, at least thank you for letting us know and not having to search out the entire time for something that does not exist.
You could waste your time with a lot of fucking people, but that's aside from the point. I assume you want to know how much.
Yeah.
All right, so it looks like a lot of your main engine components are fine, but there's a couple of things that need replacing. That being said, your wheels are going to need entirely replacing. They are bent out of alignment. Could run you maybe 250.
Tim Tom whispers over to 447. I have 208.
I can chip in. I'll chip.
Could I potentially 41? No, 42.
I'm going.
I'll nod my head at Tim Tom, and I'm just gonna take out my cred stick and transfer him 42 credits.
I'll.
Go ahead and deduct that from your personal wealth.
Yes.
Cool. I have 0 credits.
You go ahead and hand this over to the dwarf.
Yeah, Tim Tom just.
I
Like,
now
has his-
have 106 credits.
Tim
Yeah,
Tom
he-
kind of shudders a little bit. It's like,
He takes your chit and, seeing that you're shuddering, what's wrong?
oh, nothing.
Nothing's wrong? You looked a bit shaky.
That was a bit bigger of a punch than I was thinking of, but you know what?
Well, look at it this
You
way.
look like a
at least
credible guy, and now I get my buggy back.
At least you didn't have to shell out for a new one.
Tim Tom kind of like eyes wide, kind of like shakes his head. Yeah.
Well, how much fucking money do you have left?
Tim Tom, if you're flat broke, I'm sure the rest of the party and I can make sure you have at least enough to eat.
No. I'm not gonna bankrupt you. Here, I'll take 240. Give you enough for a meal, and I assume your friends have, like, room and board covered.
Yeah, we're gonna take care of him.
I have 10 credits left. Yay.
That's fine. I'm not gonna do that to you. Trust me, I ain't that kind of dwarf. So he goes ahead, he transfers those credits over on his little register that he has in a different side of his building. Should take me the better part of tomorrow, but it should be fixed up.
Thank you, mechanic. Good luck.
Yep. I didn't get either of your names, by the way.
Hello, my name is Dr. Timothy Thomas. My friends call me Tim Tom.
I'm just gonna nod my head. 447.
Y'all reach.
Ooh. Alright. Not the names I was expecting, but... my name's Gakkel.
Gakko?
Nice to meet you, Gaku.
Huh. Good meeting you too. like I said, check with me maybe tomorrow afternoon.
Understood.
How do you spell Gokal? G-O...
It's Gakal.
So with that, I'm gonna nod my head respectfully.
You go to fucking commune, and I'll just add you to my contacts.
Fair.
He goes
Y'all
ahead
are
and
just
starts
also
to
going to
call of
add them
yours,
to
and
contacts.
Yes.
you go ahead and acquire. It actually updates you with his last name as well. His full name is Gokul Dragon.
You know what would be really cool? If each of us had an actual, like, in-game phone book with our contacts that we could look at.
Shit, that'd be pretty mean. You might have to look into that after we're done here.
That'd be fucking cool as shit.
Yeah.
All right, so
Gakul
now you go
Dragon
ahead-
Belt?
Yeah.
I'm
So,
going to
right.
put down my biography right now
I'm
of one of my contacts.
I'm going to give Gokul a respectful nod, and then I'm gonna make my way out of the mechanic shop, and I guess I'm gonna try to regroup with Vaku, Ankos, and Sal.
All right, other party members, what we doing?
All right. Well, I was actually going to go ahead and start trying to get in contact with my people in the city.
Who
You
specifically?
said
are you
Dragon
trying to
Forge?
contact?
Specifically, I need to check to see if I've had any correspondence, and I need to report in.
Your jacket.
What?
They just like airdrop you a new
you need
jacket.
to report in that your jacket is missing.
So
I said a while back earlier in the session, although I've been forgetting to, or like in the start of the campaign, although I forgot to really do anything with it, like flavor-wise, that I was gonna be cataloging, videoing, and writing down happenings that went on where I meet superiors again. I can prove to them what type of insane fucking bullshit I've been through. I will probably log the log.
You are cutting out quite a lot.
Ah, fuck. Let me change my audio sensitivity. I guess that's what I get for letting Discord decide what is the appropriate level of gain in my microphone.
That's what I get for working at Microsoft.
Who in particular are you contacting? Are you contacting
All
like,
right,
the actual
so
institute
For
here,
starters,
or-
I need to get a hold of Uvon first.
All right, so you go ahead and try to utilize his like contact information and call him.
I'll be right
Yeah,
back.
because he's the one that like sponsored me. I was gonna get a hold of
Yes.
him now and be like, "Hey, I kind of dropped off the map for a while. How's everything been going?"
So, you go ahead and call him, and it's maybe about 10 seconds, more of a wait than you're used to, of just that ringing before it's picked up and you hear, Ankos?
Yeah, hi. I realize it's been a while since I contacted you. Just so you know, I'm not dead, but boy fucking howdy, I got close.
What the fuck happened?
Ship went down in orbit. I got stranded in the boonies for a couple weeks. I've made my way back out, but I've got one hell of a hazard pay file or a claim to file whenever I get back. I just now
That's
made it to
awful.
the capital city. Yeah, it's been interesting to say the least. Anyway, I was just about to make contact with Miss Cutis. Cutis? How the fuck do you say that? Alini.
Right. Well, if you ever in town, just like drop by, please. I kind of want to see how the hell you're holding up. You know, ship
And-
crash isn't no simple thing, so.
Uvon's still back on Zavoth 3, right? No, not Zavoth 3. I'm sorry. He's still back on Axiom, isn't he? This is me asking the DM.
Oh no, you were currently talking to Uvon.
I know. Uvon is. Oh, I thought I called him. Yeah, but like, Uvon is still back. Is at the main office on.
Like, planetary calls aren't a thing unless you are rich.
Oh, okay. So he is actually here in Dravania then.
Yes, he is specifically here in Hollins.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go back into character then. Yeah, I'll swing by. I need to establish contact with the office. I need to make my claim. I need to make another claim for some lost equipment, and I need to get caught up on information. I don't know if you guys have progressed the investigation at all while I've been gone, but I need to be caught up if you have.
hell, I mean, I'm off duty right now, but once you're done with that, we might grab a bite to eat and talk about some shit.
Well, if you're not doing anything right now, I've actually been traveling with a group since I've, crash landed, and right now they're otherwise busy, so I've got nothing better to do, and I need a bite to eat. So, you know any places
I
around here
mean,
to meet up at?
Yeah, bring your friends. I'm sure we could scrounge up something.
Yeah, sure. Fuck it. I was thinking about doing a going away dinner with all of them, anyways, before we all have to split ways. This could be a good opportunity. All right.
Sounds
Well,
good.
forward me. We'll pick something out and forward it to you.
So
We'll see.
I know you literally just said this, but what was the mechanic's name?
His name is
Goggle Dragon Forge, if
Gockel,
I'm
right?
Purple Dragon Belt.
Dragon
belt. My belt. My bad.
My belt.
I'm writing down all the potential contacts I have, and the greasy car dealer's name. I know it started with a D.
Drestel.
Yes.
All right. So after getting off the phone with him, I'm gonna go ahead and kind of like, I guess, make a group chat or something with everybody and be like, hey, I want to do one last meetup, or I want to meet up again, where we can all like get a bite to eat and all this bullshit. So, anyone got any ideas for a place to go? And I'm gonna be looking for like recommendations for like a restaurant or somewhere. That
We have things to discuss. There have been developments, so
very well.
meeting
We
up
should
again
do
would
it.
be prudent,
Yeah.
Yes.
Ideally, over hot food and cold drinks would be the better idea.
if that's your preference.
Of course it is.
And these are all over like messages on our on our communicators, right?
Right.
It's like I was gonna be hitting up a couple of places before I meet back up with you guys. Just looking around, see if there's any opportunities for me.
We're gonna need a time and a place.
Well, how about this? I'm gonna just hop on whatever their equivalent of an extranet is, and I'm gonna find places that are just well liked and pick one out of a hat, and we'll meet there tonight.
Yeah, no, of the varying establishments that you have access to, there is a place that's just called the Cave. There's another one that's called Serenity, and another one that appears to be like the private lounge.
First one, I'm gonna roll D3, and first one will be Cave. Second will be Serenity, and third will be Third.
All right.
How does that sound?
The cave.
That works. I kind of like the sound of the cave, though.
If we,
I am back.
I wouldn't mind going to quote unquote the cave.
The cave.
Yeah, let's go to the cave. Fuck it.
Let's venture into the cave.
Let's go Cave.
All right, so we're all gonna fucking make reservations, get a time, and I'm gonna send Uvan a message saying where we're gonna be and when.
Yeah, no,
Hey.
you get online with some of the people there, and they're just immediately taking your contact info and the specific times. For convenience, the time will just be the time for the purposes of the game, but
Right.
you go ahead and inform Uvan, and he seems interested because he's never heard of the cave before.
The
Christ.
cave. I've never heard of the cave before either.
Hey,
Yeah,
Levi,
Yes.
can I reattempt to knit a coat for fucking a jacket for fucking
Fuck
You
you.
can start again. Give me a dexterity check.
and 15.
15. You start, and the bear paws are working with you a bit better today now that they're not so shaky because of, the owl.
So I just want to ask, how are you knitting this? Are you walking with us and knitting at the same time, or have you found somewhere to sit down and just knit? Are you with someone while you're doing this? Are you knitting alone?
I imagine I'm with the party. Like if we're going somewhere, I imagine I'd put
Walking
it
and
up.
knitting.
Sure, yeah, I'm walking and knitting while we're just walking. I'm just
Sound
I look over at this. Doctor, what the hell are you doing?
oh, it's knitting. It's actually a really good therapeutic thing to do. I'm not really good with large crowds of people, and it helps me, clear my head a little bit. Plus, our good friend over there lost his jacket, and I want to be a good Samaritan and make him a new one.
I shake my head. I'm sure he'll appreciate it, but from what he told me, that jacket was something he earned. A badge of honor from those he worked under.
Oh,
Wouldn't quite be the same, I imagine.
oh,
Just like
looks
this armor
looks at-
doesn't suit me like my old one does.
looks at Yarich. starts changing it from like a jacket to a quilt or a blanket.
Yaroich does not notice at the moment. He's currently kind of typing things into
Or
his-
like a little, or like, I don't know, like a sweater or something.
Anyway,
I'm knitting something. I'll come up with what it is later.
I guess we've got a little bit of time before they'll have to meet. So, I think I'm gonna go do some reading.
Sorry, Dad was on the phone. We'll have to take a very short break while I let the dogs out.
Okay, cool. I'll pause
Okay.
the recording for now.
All right. So, Sam, what is
Yes.
Vaku doing?
Okay, so he's gonna sneak around. He's gonna like skulk around town and like get a feel for like a vibe of like what some of the more underground type of dealings are going on.
What
Basically, just
specifically are you looking for? You just looking for crime?
just go to like a fucking bar or something and just start like asking around if there's any like side business that needs taken care of.
Go ahead and give me a diplomacy check. So, most of the places that you go to, they're pretty reluctant to like talk about crime because most people are like law-abiding citizens. However, you do get one unscrupulous individual that catches you as you are leaving, that seems to tell you about a specific someone that everybody in this city goes toward in order to take care of some illicit business. You don't know much about their race, which is the Shile, but you do know that it is somebody who goes under the nickname of Cat. That being said,
You say cat or pat?
Cat, C-A-T.
C-A-T. Cat.
The kind gentleman, which looks more like a trench coat flasher, definitely tells you that he can arrange this if you wish to meet with this individual.
All right. Suppose I'd get in contact with them and see if they have anything I could help them with.
So, Sel, what are you doing?
I am going to follow up on my contact since he is, since I said I was going to come to him.
Alrighty. So, as this flasher leads you through this sort of like underworld per se, snooping underneath the local government's noses, it is by sheer DM coincidence that you arrive at this strange armored door about the same time that the drow does. The local surroundings are a variety of like nightlife clubs and various things that act as a pretty good cover for this particular area that is reserved inside of an alley. That being said, you two arrive and see each other via completely different circumstance.
Ooh.
Is it possible for me to, like, upon seeing Vaku, kind of drift off, like I came here for, alternative purposes?
You can wait for him to go inside if you wish.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, our friendly neighborhood trenchcoat flasher, he knocks at the door, upon which a eye slit opens up and two red glaring lights stare at him and just immediately say, "Password." And then the guy kind of like tucks in just a little bit and whispers something underneath his breath, upon which
Right.
the eye slot shuts. You hear several locks unlatching before it opens and Vaku is allowed inside.
Would it be possible for me to have picked up what the password was?
If you want, you can go ahead and make a perception check. A 19. You hear underneath all of their fucking weird chatter, you do make out the word Phoenix.
Phoenix. Okay. All right. So they let me in and kind of just
Yeah. Passing by this very, very sturdy looking door, a almost skinny-ish looking man with 2 bionic implants that give him glowing red orbs instead of eyes greets you.
Hello
Not
there.
really saying much, the either of them. You kind of realize that you may be getting into something that's a bit weird.
Hmm.
But they lead you further in, and the trenchcoat guy goes ahead and takes his leave with the rest of you, leaving you with all of these weirdos. You have seemingly arrived in some sort of like afterlife scenario where there is pumping, raving music, as well as a majority of bad looking motherfuckers, all of them mercenaries in their own rights. That being said, where do you want to start off?
Hmm.
Sal, do you want to go ahead and slip your way in as well?
Knowing that one of the party members are here, I'm going to kind of, I'm just going to kind of slip into an alleyway and just say, on my comm unit, be there momentarily, have a hold up, and just kind of chill out and kind of blend back into the crowd. Kind of keep
You
an eye.
you do get a response that is, I am not a very patient mollusk.
Mollusk?
I'm going to just say to him, you're about ready to have a very interesting guest.
Don't fucking tell me this is
You-
what I think it is.
You get another K.
I can't
Mollusk.
wait to see this guy.
Oh no.
So, as you are led through the beating music of this club, you notice that it is turned down significantly whenever you approach near the bar counter, and all of these like rough, grizzled, bionic mercenaries are all staring at you like you are entirely out of place.
But me?
Yes.
Oh. Hello there. Just looking for some
The-
work.
The bartender in particular, who looks pretty like professional compared to the rest of these individuals, he has his coat kind of tight around his waist and a nice suit jacket underneath it, but a loose tie. He's just, what will you be drinking?
Just a little shot of whiskey. Tell me, is there any work available?
There is always work available here. Depends on who you want to talk to.
Anyone that would specialize in stealthy procedures?
Depends what's your particular talent set.
Sneaking around, getting in, looting things, getting out.
You want to be a cat burglar or a drug runner?
Uh, for burglary.
I'm sure I can set you up with somebody.
Thank
So
you.
he goes ahead and slides you your drink, and as you are enjoying it, maybe a couple of minutes pass. It is not long before a very buff looking individual who does not have any like cybernetics kind of on display just kind of makes his presence known behind you. And you go ahead and turn around and see this very large, bald dude with like very clear, inconspicuous like sunglasses.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Yeah, we'll see you now.
Thank you. Just take me to her.
Yes. He turns around and begins moving. You just gonna follow him?
Yeah.
He leads you into one of the back areas behind all of the crowd and talent until you are taken to a separate private environment. One of those large, like, private rooms with a circular seat and a table that is host to a lot of variety of, like, illicit substances, including, like, gaseous drugs that kind of seem to be leaking from the stems of their containers. What you do find is that surrounded by several of his peers, each a variable character in their own right, a very slimy, almost speckled, tan, brownish, mollusk like figure greets you with solid green, cat like eyes. Three of them, in fact. Two on the regular, almost predatory facing sides of his head, and one smack dab on the center ridge in the center of his face.
Is this a live slug reaction?
This is indeed a live slug reaction. You are like being monitored in more ways than one. There are several guards that are on several corners of this little chamber, in addition to the hulking bodyguard to your side. You hear almost this presence, and you get a sense that this cat has some form of telepathy. So, what brings you to my den?
I was just came into town and was looking for some work. Heard to go to you.
No name, no reputation, and you come to me for work.
Got to get started somewhere.
I suppose. So, may I have your name?
Go by Vaku. Vaku Kome.
Aku.
Yeah.
Very well. I suppose I can hook you up with something to validate my trust in you.
All right.
Very well. Get this creature out of my sight. I will have something for him later. And this big beefy guy is just like, you heard him.
All right. I'll make my way out. Thank you.
And as you are leaving, you can already see that this thing has turned its like very sharp face over towards one of its co-conspirators, and it looks to be discussing some kind of plans.
Hmm.
After which you leave. In fact, the entire bar. You are actually forced out back into a now prospering rain.
Just in like the meanwhile, while he was in there, I was just going to take a peek at the local shops. Ask around. Seeing for travel supplies, what things are like, or for transport to the capital, and stuff like that.
Well, if you're just looking around for travel supplies, you could buy anything that you kind of wish. That being said, Vaku, as you are escorted out, they do, on your way, hand you what appears to be some kind of slotted appliance that you could hook up to your comm unit.
All right.
Very well. So as you are escorted out, Sal, I assume that you seeing the fucking bird leaving, you're going to make your way in.
Yeah, once I know he's, gone and on his way.
So, you enter. You get much the same reaction as the rest, except instead of being forced to wait at the bar, you are immediately invited to the private, chambers back where this so-said cat is. And as you enter this chamber, you immediately hear, before you even reached this individual, why did it take you so long?
I'm just going to kind of, it's a long story. Perhaps some drinks, gonna go or be a bit for us.
Also, your friend, the bird, what's up with him?
Uh, let's just say we had met by circumstance, and for the foreseeable future, we are kind of hide.
Right, how?
Yeah. Kind of mulled over my head. Those circumstances that I had mentioned before have left us with, let's just say, a debt. And if you know my family, debts tend to be repaid.
Sure, that sounds good. So, I'm thinking about offering some starting work to him, but that's besides the point. You wish for drinks, that can be provided.
I'm just
After
going to.
a little bit, you both get settled, and as you are partaking of whatever your particular kind is provided on the house, because this is, of course, the cat's club. Partway through, he takes a kind of like one of those little nodules that hangs off of the drug, the gaseous administration devices, and seemingly takes a breath of it, and then offers it over to you.
Would I know what that is?
No.
Oh, okay. Considering it's, I'm just going. Can I make a perception check to see if anything stands out, or that,
From what
how
you
would I?
can tell, everything looks pretty relaxed. And you don't get a sense that he's going to
Mhm.
poison you immediately, considering that he just inhaled whatever it is he's offering
Yeah.
you now.
I'm just gonna go ahead.
Yeah, you go ahead and accept it, and you find that it is a relaxing experience that puts you kind of melting back into your chair.
Mhm.
And as he goes ahead and puts it back into the slots, always good to relax before business is conducted. So, member of House Despath, I know a lot about your mother, but I've never actually done business with your family. Please tell me about yourself.
Um, let's just say I am along for some errands. My mother had sent me out here, particularly mentioned you. Um,
I'm not too particularly familiar with the Despots, but it seems strange that they would offer somebody of so high a position into my hands.
I'm just going to kind of chuckle and just say, well, trials and to prove worth tend to force people outside of their normal activities.
Oh, I'm sure. So, your mother wants you to prove yourselves. Well, I think I can be of particular service. Maybe we can get something going on between us two.
And I'm just going to kind of chuckle a bit. And on another note, perhaps this might buy me a good little goodwill. Let's just
Maybe.
say I ran into a former compatriot of yours.
What do you mean?
One, let's just say, perhaps goes by Mouse, a former partner.
Alright. Strange way to take the conversation, but.
I just thought I would let you know in order to, so if this comes up or you find out, it would seem I'm not double dealing. And I have a particular distaste for backstabbers. I don't know what, or how much he meant to you, but the last I seen him, he was hanging out in the town of Gilead.
Iliad, you say?
Now, whether or
That
not the
is very interesting to me. Thank you for that. That does buy just a little bit of goodwill.
now, on to what you were wanting done.
Oh, I have so much I want to get done. But we start with simple things for now. In fact, again, not that I don't have any mistrust with you, but I would like to establish a baseline, so you say. I'm thinking about pairing you and your little bird friend on a few missions, maybe.
I'm just gonna kind of weigh it over. I don't see how that would be too much of a problem. They have not had ample time to get a really good sense of character, and I have a feeling he's stepping in way over his head, but I wouldn't be opposed.
Well, I must say it's been rather interesting meeting one of your kind. I find that most drow tend to come from a fairly strange background. So it's good to meet one that knows how to be professional.
I'm just going to kind of chuckle and just be like, well, I try to strive for being original.
All right. Well, I must say I have nothing for you currently at the moment, but as soon as something shows up, you can be sure that I will put your name before all others.
I'm just going to kind of give a
You
nod
and
of,
your. Right, of course.
I'm just going to kind of nod in gratitude, and I'm just going to kind of finish up my drink once, that kind of sounds like a dismissal.
All right. You leave of your own volition. I assume that most of the party is meeting back up.
Yeah,
Yes.
I
Did
was
I?
going to hit up a library and do a little bit of reading and just get some historical context as to what precisely happened in Concordia. But if I don't have enough time to do that, then I'm just gonna go ahead and get to the cave.
There will
Uh,
be plenty of time later.
Okay.
and just on the way back, I'm just going to kind of make, a few peeks in and see what transport to the capital's like, or if there's anything like any news from the capital that may
Oh,
stop us from
actually,
going.
you know what I will do? What I will do that I can do on the way, I'm gonna open up my comm unit, and I'm gonna see if communication is any better in the capital. I'm gonna try to give Stu a call from here.
Eli, you are in the capital right now.
I thought it was Drovania, not Hollands.
Hollands is the capital of Drovania.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Okay, that's my bad.
No, you're fine.
In that meantime, I'm going to kind of look up off-world transportation and see if there's anything that's going to be stopping us from leaving.
Fair enough. So, given the short amount of time that you all have had to yourselves, it is time to meet back up at the cave.
Can I try to call Stu? Is that a possibility? Are the comm
Yeah.
networks going out of the capital any good for that?
Keep in mind that like it's the fucking surrounding regions that are currently dead zones because they're being reserved for civilian traffic. This particular city seems to have an intact communication system, so you try to call Stu and you don't get any response.
Just kind of shrug my shoulders at that and put my comm unit away.
So, the party is all going to meet up at this strange new place, the cave.
Yeah.
What is the cave?
Well, seeing as how all of you are going to start arriving at the same time, you do see that this particular restaurant is a bit further into the wealthier portions of the city. It is stylized to look like a rocky front entrance and seems to go down. There are attendants that are keeping people kind of like away because there are crowds and masses that would pile into this place if given the chance. But seeing as how you all have a reservation for a particular time period, you begin arriving one by one and are seated down here. Underneath this sort of restaurant, it appears to be... It's kind of like of a medium upper tier kind of society. There is kind of like this stylized rocky architecture and almost a very cold, humid sense to the place. You can kind of see fog rolling in every now and then. But the actual dining areas themselves are rather just medium in all aspects. Like, not particularly cold, not particularly warm. It's just kind of the style of these surroundings. Most of the party seems to regroup together into this place and starts surrounding one of what particular table or like seating are you all looking for?
Just, I don't know, I would assume a booth or a table that can sit all of us.
If something facing the door, preferably.
Yeah, my back to the wall.
You all do find what appears to be one of those long tables with a like rows of seating that are kind of pointed straight towards the door, so that's where you take up and sit down. After a while, all of the party filters through, and eventually, in sort of a casual dress, a bit definitely unprofessional for a man of his career, Uvan, who appears to be very large, not as tall as Timothy, but large enough to be imposing as a medium-sized creature. A very reptilian visage, definitely draconic in nature, but instead of seeing like dragon shield plating, he looks a bit more like rocky and craggy. Just kind of random assortments and chaotic lines.
For the record, I'm 6'5". Is he taller than me?
He is definitely taller than you. Like
okay.
Bordering on maybe 6'8" or 6'9".
And is he like bulky or lithe or?
He is definitely bulky.
All right.
Looking at him.
Okay.
Do you remember Naraka?
Yes.
That kind of physique.
Okay. All right. But he's still human-ish looking, with some draconic features.
No, he is definitely like draconic.
All right. Well, he's
but on two legs. He's more like a reptilian style.
Okay.
So he crosses forward and kind of looks around a bit, unsure of the place that you've picked out, until eventually he spots you, and you see his expression lighten as much as a craggy, rocky face can. And he strides over until he reaches the side of the table. Bit of a interesting place you've picked out for us. And Ghost. Whatever.
Hooper, are you here?
Fucking Christ, push to talk. I literally told you this was gonna fucking happen. Yeah, I'm just, Fucking hell. Hold on. Give me a second here to get a better keybind for the push to talk. Okay, that's better. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. As he walks over to the table, I'm gonna stand up and I'm gonna go meet him on his way over there and like shake his hand and be like, "Holy shit, it's good to see a familiar face."
Speaking of shit, you look like it. And he kind of shakes your hand.
Feel like it too.
Well, we'll have to talk more about this. Who's all of this? Who's
So,
all these people?
These guys are the ones that I actually got in the crash with. We've been trekking together through the wilderness for the past couple weeks. Picked up some work with them. Good fellas, but our business together is about to end, so we're just gonna have some quality time together. I just thought I should introduce you, being that these guys are kind of responsible for me being alive.
Well, nice to meet you all. I am Uvan.
Hello, my name is Dr. Timothy Thomas. My friends
I'm
call
just
me
going to
Doc.
slap him on the side like his arm, and just be like, "Keep it
Christ.
simple. We're among friends."
Alright, well, nice crowd we got here. He goes
Y'all
ahead and
reach
sits
waves.
down into one of these seats, and you can hear it creaking underneath him. So, I assume we'll order and then we'll talk.
Whatever works for you. I imagine we both got a lot to say to each other.
Yep, that is right.
I'm gonna look around towards the party. Tim, the doctor's vehicle is currently under repair. It cost him most of his money, but the prognosis we were given by the mechanic suggests it'll be finished by tomorrow.
How are we looking on money for it?
It was paid for out of Tim Tom's pocket. I assisted him with credits for some of the cost.
Well, I really don't have much, but I can throw some your way.
If we're
Yes.
going to be discussing putting credits towards something, then we're going to have to talk about replacing Zessie's buggy.
Surely there's got to be some type of place we can go to find a individual soliciting work.
We found a dealership that has a similar all-terrain vehicle available for 1,000 credits.
That's pretty reasonable.
I assume if each of us puts in, say, 100 or so, probably a little more than 100 given there's not 10 of us, but
Well, I'm gonna need to catch up on some work then, because I don't have that much money right now.
and of course it's important to remember that it's not going to be ours. We need to replace what we lost from Kiliad.
Right, obviously.
And while we're here, I would hope that everybody would do some looking around and potentially find a lead for replacing Kiliad's mechanic as well. And then after that, if we're all still interested, we do have one other ruin we can explore to attempt to find parts to repair Doomtread further.
Not a bad idea.
And I suppose that's everything I had to lay on the table.
All right.
So, these people, all of you, how long you been working with Ankos?
3 weeks.
When I saw him, he was nothing more than a pile of hamburger meat.
What?
They recovered his nearly dead body out of a wrecked ship.
What the fuck, Ankos? You didn't tell me about that.
Well, I told you I got in a crash. Told you I just barely lived. Yeah, when the vessel went down, it was a very hard landing. Like, pretty much everyone here had to get scooped up to be, they weren't dragged out, we were scooped up. But the doctor here, yeah, he's a doctor.
Tim
I know,
Tom
as hard as that is to believe. Did all the medical work,
Sheesh.
and then there was a small town that he worked out of who kind of footed the cost for our medical bills. And one of the reasons it's taking me so long is I couldn't just head straight back. I had to pay back my my debt for them.
Well then, I hope Olini understands that. She's been pretty pissed off here lately.
I mean, I'm assuming she thought I just fucking went AWOL or something.
Well, of course there's that, but, There's a couple of other things I haven't really been telling you.
Can you? Well, I mean, now's a good time to start.
Well, without your presence, the investigation moved forward as it should. They did pick another person to fill your spot. That being said, you may have to talk with her in order to maybe gain your rightful place. That being said, the particular corporation that's stashed up around the terraformer facility is denying us access. So that's got our boss a bit worked up. We've been able to dig around quite a lot and see what we could find, but so far we've been stifled at every turn.
Wait, so the corporation is the ones trying to hold us up? The ones that are responsible for the equipment?
One's responsible for repairing it, yeah.
What the hell do they want to keep us out for? If we figure this out, maybe it'd help them fix it faster.
Well, they said it's particular working with sensitive hardware, and that if they had a bunch of trench coats running around, it could disrupt their stuff.
All this going around, these fuckers are worried about corporate espionage. What a bunch of fucking idiots.
I'm thinking the same thing.
I mean, I'm sure the local government out here is actually quite vested in finding out what happened to them. If we have to, we'll just get a warrant that supersedes them.
Yeah,
I'd
about
rather
that. So, I am being called, so give me a moment.
I guess I'll get something else to drink while I'm waiting on that.
Suppose I'll pause the recording for now. We're rolling.
So, as I was saying, well, about that. It turns out that the current governor of Drovania, Sir Bolvok Stursk, also has close ties with the company that manages the terraforming plant, Stormcast Innovations. We tried going to the city in order to get some method of overriding their decisions, only to be turned aside by Bolvok, who says that their privacy needs to be protected.
I don't trust that.
Neither do I, but as far as we're concerned, he's untouchable.
His name. What was that again? Let me write that down.
Bolvok.
there's-
Bolvok
Sir.
Stursk.
See, there's important thing. Sir Bolvok. Is he part of the old nobility?
No, sorry, I just meant to say like Sir Bolvok. No, his name is just Bolvok. Bolvok
alright, then.
Stursk.
All right. Well, looking into these individuals and seeing if they have any allegiances with current factions on the planet might be a good idea.
Sounds like
After
a
all,
nice one.
Our two greatest leads are that either this thing was sabotaged as part of the old family's houses, the old houses attempts to do a scorched earth strategy, or potentially the syndicate trying to make the invasion easier. But I straight up do not believe the syndicate would do this. It makes no sense to cripple a planet you're trying to take. And especially to not then fix it for generations afterwards. Why in the hell would we want to inherit a dead and dying world? And I've seen that these
Well-
nobles are a little unhinged in my travels.
What does that mean?
We did
Long
encounter that
story
one dude
short, we
that
found
wanted this plant to die. Well, at least the town.
Yeah, that's a long story, but to put it short, we did find some remnants of the old nobility back out in the boonies whenever we were stranded, and
Take it didn't go well.
not really. I can tell that there's a lot of resentment, a lot of anger directed towards the Syndicate. I would absolutely believe these people would burn their own planet to keep it from coming into our hands.
Right.
But I need to see.
Well-
I need to find out who he's talking to, and I need to find out where his loyalties lie. That could say a lot about his intentions.
Fair enough. There anything else you wanted to know?
Well, I guess just in general, any progress on the case you've had, but like you said, you haven't been able to get to the equipment, so I can't see how progress has been made.
We're basically grounded at this point.
All right, well, first things first, I'm gonna have to go talk to the boss and get my spot on the case back, because I'd fucking die before I let my first case get handed over to some fucking random guy.
I'll let her know you're coming.
I'll do it first thing tomorrow morning. But tonight's a more lighthearted occasion.
I agree. I mean, I didn't plan on drinking, but
Well,
no, this place does have decent food as far as I can tell.
fair enough. And then on that, I mean, you're like me. You're in the information business, and these guys are pretty interesting. They may not be a permanent party, but I'd recommend talking to them. You get some funny stories out of a few of them.
Shit, I mean, the only reason I came here is because you showed up after weeks of just being off the record, off the grid.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that I mean, the ship that I got charter on, it was a scheduled flight from the company. I'm a little surprised that they didn't put two and two together and go, oh well, this hasn't arrived in port after being set on this course, so maybe something fucking happened.
Well, I haven't been hearing much of the like talkings up there, but I'm sure that they figured out something.
Yeah. Either way, it should be pretty easy to prove what's happened to me, so I'm not too worried about them trying to throw some type of abandonment charge on my file.
Of course.
And,
Alright, well, I'm gonna finish up my meal, and I'm gonna head home. I'm glad to see that you're alright, but
yeah, you too.
you all go ahead and continue. Is there anything else that anyone here would like to discuss?
Well, one, I'd like, you know, would I have enough time to finish up what I'm making out of knitting?
And you're knitting an entire,
You're knitting at the
like,
fucking
coat.
table.
No, I think instead I'm just gonna knit like a scarf instead.
Well, scarf is much easier, but changing your mind midway through, you're just like, okay, this sleeve, it's gonna be a scarf now.
Yeah.
By the end of it, go ahead and give me another dexterity check.
Yeah.
13. You have a very rough, rudimentary scarf ready. And everybody else is just kind of like looking at him as he's in between eating this food, which, by the way, let me go
One
ahead
thing
and...
I will note,
yes.
while Yalrich is eating his food, he is going to be covering his mouth with his wings so that nobody sees how he actually eats.
Right.
Straw.
Well, that's straw. That being said, what I'm assuming that all of you are going to order like the less expensive food here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm straight up getting a salad. I'm not doing okay.
I'm saving my money.
Are you just not eating here?
No, I'm saving my money.
The attendants are just like, okay.
I'm just gonna get like an appetizer for him. Like I don't
Yeah,
fucking know what
something
exactly is
like
normal
the
cooks look like
cheapest
here.
item on their menu.
I'm at least gonna get some fucking bread for the people that don't want to eat.
So, for those
I'm
of you
going
that
to just eat the small shrimp scampi for a child size.
So for those of you that are having either very small portions or very like they're lesser, they're cheaper food, it's going to be 10 credits. The appetizer will just be 2.
So I was like, I'm just gonna get a steak. You know.
You're going to go with the more expensive variation.
Yeah, how much would that be?
So their steaks and like full on like steak meals will be around the range of 50 credits.
50 credits.
I would like
what-
you all to remember that we owe Kiliad a buggy.
And how much did you want us to chip in for that?
The total cost is going to be 1,000 credits.
And again, how much do you expect from each of us?
Do the math. There's what, 7 of us here now? 6 maybe?
I'd say expect to pay up about 110 a person, maybe 115.
I'll get something a little,
6 of us here now.
something a little more reasonable. Skim over the menu and just find something that's kind of basic but somewhat filling.
So you're going with the cheaper option?
Yeah.
About 10 credits like the rest of everybody here.
All right.
So, at the end of the meal, which is decent for what you've gotten here, I would say that where are all of you going?
Yalrich is going.
Ulon is getting up and leaving.
Oh,
What time of day is it? Important.
Evening.
Right now it's turning into evening.
Before Ulan
Um,
leaves, I want to ask him if there's any company lodging available for traveling agents.
Oh, yeah, no, I'd probably go and, yeah, matter of fact, I wouldn't mind you just staying the night over. I've got a
Alright.
couch. We can figure it out in the morning.
Fair enough.
Tim-
Well,
Tim
I've got my
Tom's gonna-
lodging arranged for tonight.
Tim Tom's gonna go with 446 or 446.
447.
My bad. And
A
and
second
before he,
centurion sprouts out of the table.
Numbers are hard.
and Tim Tom's gonna give the scarf he made over to Yarich. And
Would
be
I
like,
know? Would I know off the top of my head if my family like made a arrangement for
Your
my lodging?
family specifically, like, basically afforded you a pretty nice apartment in the richer districts of the city.
Didn't that
Okay.
doctor that was looking over
is-
me say something about lodging?
Would there be enough room in that apartment for me to hang out with Sal?
I don't know. Why don't you ask him?
Sal, could I bunk with you for the night?
How would you? How would you even know? I wouldn't. I
Al
didn't
is
mention-
leaving with intent. It's like that the squatter's instinct.
Oh no. I'm just going to kind of look and just say, let me just put it this way. I normally wouldn't mind people bunking in my residence if it wasn't for, let's just say, the place that it is, particularly under watch. And the less people I have there, the less it gets back to others.
Suppose I understand the need for confidentiality. I'll just hang out with Tim, Tom, and 447.
I'm just going to kind of give him like sort of that just a sad smile and just be like, truthfully, I wouldn't have minded if for the fact that who else could be watching, and I'd rather not.
I would help you, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, I'd rather not make any targets even larger on you guys' head. I'm just going to kind of at that point beg off.
Awkwardly step out of the room.
I'll ask again. That doctor that was examining me said something about
Indeed,
lodging, right?
Yeah, no, in fact, they would have given you the contact information and the location of the current, like, cheap residence that you were going to be allowed to take place.
Right.
It's essentially a motel, but in sci-fi terms.
Fair enough. Before I go there, though, since this dinner shit is over, are there any libraries or historians I could talk to?
I suppose you could take a detour and try to go visit one of the archives.
Yeah.
So Yarich is going to contact hold on. It's going to contact Gokul and ask him if he would be up for almost an internship for half price of what most people would pay an intern. Just
You're wanting to, like, come over and look at shit? I mean, I've never hired an intern before, so...
I'm looking to make some sort of credit, but I just figured a mechanic of your stature could use at least help.
Make a diplomacy check.
Okay.
I imagine he says that.
You imagine he says that, huh?
Indeed.
But does he actually say that?
Fuck it. I think I could use another hand. Sure, hop on over to the shop. It's getting laid out. I'm sure we'll retire for the bit.
Alright. I'm going to inform the others that I'm going to be staying with the mechanic and trying to help him out while we're here.
Go ahead and depart. So, you're going to try and access one of the archives.
Yeah.
You have to head towards one of the more, like, governmental buildings in town. Matter of fact, it's pretty nice looking.
Matt,
Whenever
what
you-
the fuck is going on with your microphone?
It's typical noises. But at the
My bad.
at the front desk, there appears to be a lady with a basic hint of cybernetics kind of attached to her. It's like, oh, new visitors, what's going on? How can I help you?
Are these archives free to browse?
Well, thanks to our local governments, yes. What in particular are you looking for?
Historical tomes. I need to know about Concordia.
Well, we don't carry any books here, but we do carry a digital archive of most information accessible to the Syndicate. These records are updated weekly.
Same difference.
So you're looking for ancient empires?
I reckon I am.
Very well. Suppose I can dig something up for you. Would you prefer to wait here or browse yourself?
I'll take a look around for myself.
Alright, well, let me know if you need anything.
Right.
You depart and begin searching around these digital archives, and you find that there are a variety of people here. From likely criminals trying to get information to actually like semi-professional individuals that might be studying for certain things. That being said, if you are searching these archives, I would like you to go ahead and give me an intelligence or a wisdom check.
Well, that's the same for me no matter what, because of the way things panned out.
If you would like, you could make a call to somebody that's good at sleep.
I
Well-
imagine.
Oh,
So, we will start with your first entry. Whenever you're searching these terminals, which, by the way, are public and covered in, like, people grease,
Gross.
what is your first search attempt? What are you trying to uncover?
Well, since I've heard that Concordia was an ancient empire and the homeworld was no longer inhabitable, I'm just, I guess, looking for a history, a summary of Concordian history and, you know, what ultimately happened.
So, for this article, you find several references that there was some kind of battle in the far-flung past. What you do end up finding is that there is a Battle of Lost Concordia. A long time ago, back whenever the Hollowed Court was like still had a sort of grip on the sector, they basically forced their influence and, according to the archive, basically like created circumstance in which like they wouldn't be framed as the bad guys for taking other civilizations to war. And in a almost very thorough extermination, Concordia was kind of undone at its government base level. There were some rumors of genocide, but no like confirmed facts on the accounts. The Battle of Lost Concordia is essentially the homeworld being rendered inoperable, but most of the populace making it away and becoming a nomadic fleet that eventually made up most of the stellar component of the early syndicate.
So, I guess it's true. Concordia's gone, and what's left of them was eaten by the Syndicate. There's nowhere for me to go. I suppose there are other search terms I'd like to look up.
What in particular are you looking for?
Centurion Project.
You do not find anything on that.
Project Voyager.
It is a pretty easy search category to find. Project Voyager is one of the government-sponsored research divisions within the Syndicate. They are a very, very high up there corporation.
So,
It's not actually known who leads them, but there is assumed to be a director.
they're still active.
Oh, absolutely.
Any
They're actually pretty active in a variety of locations, from the core worlds where they maintain their own depots to like frontier world outposts and sort
Any-
of like excavation fleets.
any facilities here in Hollands?
There It appears that there was one active in Hollins, but it has since been basically reclaimed.
Reclaimed.
Reclaimed due to, like, unfortunate incidents.
Reclaimed by who?
Their own company.
So, shuttered.
The operation wasn't working out so well, so they decided to pull assets.
Okay. Alright, I'm gonna tap on my comm link, and I'm gonna try to patch myself through to Aspect.
It is actually, while you are looking through your contacts list, that it fizzles for a second, and you see Aspect register in your contacts while you were thinking about it, and its little profile picture is just a smiley face.
I try not to give this much thought, and I go ahead and tap on the contact.
You go ahead and open it up into a call, and after about 5 seconds of waiting, this call is currently available. Please try back later.
Currently available.
Damn it all. So,
While you are searching through the archives and just kind of looking around, you see that same mist from before coalesce into a figure that is leaning on a table and just kind of looking at you. You wanted to talk?
were you seeing that? Any of that?
Of what you just looked up?
Yes.
Well, of course.
Then you know the Project Voyager's still around.
Yeah, are you planning on going and searching for them?
Why wouldn't I? They have something of mine.
Suppose that's true, but I'm not eager in getting stuck inside of a tube again.
You mean to tell me you don't want to go after them?
Why would I?
They did keep you contained for years. Figured you might want answers. They might know something about what you are.
Maybe,
And
but do I want to know what I am?
why wouldn't you?
Suppose that depends. If I knew what I was, would that change my current goals? Would that change who I am?
Maybe not, but the more you know about yourself, the more you know your limits, your capabilities, the more aware you are, the more effective you are, the better you know yourself.
I feel comfortable where I am right now, thank you.
Regardless, given that you are incorporeal and you have somehow managed to merge yourself with us, I don't entirely know what your plans are, but I have to go after them.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Matt, are you pissing right now? Matt, were you really for real on mic in the middle of Starfinder taking a piss?
Oh God.
Okay. Well,
How have we not heard a flush?
he probably fucking realized, oh shit, and muted himself. But, we still have to finish our business together as a group, and then I guess, since there's no one for me to go back to, I'm gonna find my armor. Then I'll take it from there.
Suppose I don't really have anything to comment on the situation. I'll be curious as to how this separation occurs, though. I've not tested any of this.
Just figured you might want to know that Voyager is still around, give you the opportunity to go after them if you thought it was the best course.
Well, if you want my own personal opinion, there are, of course, a variety of options. I go and figure out what I am, and that alters my purpose and my place in the universe. Or I continue about and forge a new path for myself.
It's your call.
Or, taking your route, I could swear vengeance, and as she says this, the mist form kind of like raises a fist to the sky, and swear to kill all of those who have involved themselves in Project Voyager.
I kind of shake my head at that. It's not about revenge, it's about taking back what they took from me. I just want my damn armor.
And if they denied it to you, would you kill them?
If I had to, if I could. I don't. It's not that I want to kill them, necessarily, but they are thieves. They did take something that wasn't theirs that belonged to me. I'm not going to pretend like I'm happy with them, but systematically dismantle them, it's not worth my time. I just want what's mine back.
I suppose I can understand that.
Regardless, they gave me lodgings here, and I think I've about learned everything I can. It really does stick a knife in my gut that that point-eared bastard was right.
Well, I suppose I can't offer any distinct comfort, seeing as how I'm sitting in a position where mostly I'm at your mercy, but just because your empire is gone doesn't mean that there's no future for you.
I don't know what future there is. The war I was made to fight was lost long ago, and the people I was made to fight for are 1,000 years plus gone.
I suppose we can sit on it for whatever remainder of your lifetime.
I'm not gonna live to 60. I wasn't meant to live that long. I plan on dying sooner.
I personally don't plan on dying at all.
I don't know about you, but even if I wanted not to, I don't have a choice. Most people don't. So with that, I'm gonna get up, and I guess I'm gonna make my way towards the cheap lodgings that I was advised of.
As you turn around, there's just a kid sitting on a bench watching you talk to thin air.
I mean, for all he knows, I was on my comm unit.
Yeah, but like, you're basically talking to a table.
I happened to be staring in the direction of a table while I was talking.
Pretty much.
Mister, are you okay?
Where are your parents? And with that, I'm gonna leave.
So, you all go ahead and depart to your appropriate lodgings.
Yeah, I'm gonna, I guess, bunk down in the cheap lodgings, wondering why exactly I thought it was worth it to pay for me, but not, I guess, questioning it much further than that.
I guess throughout the night, Tim Tom will kind of just peruse over Centurion's or 447's medical documents that he acquired to just more or less just figure out what the hell he is.
So, are you staying in the lodgings with me?
Yes.
Okay. I
I
guess.
thought I was staying in there with you as well.
Well, you said you were, but you didn't approach me or anything. But we can assume you did. You're here too. So
I guess we'll we're on our downtime. I'm just gonna take that thing the fucking cat handed me earlier. I'm just gonna start tinkering around with it.
So I guess while Tim Tom's going through my records, I'm just gonna ask him a few medical questions.
So you go ahead and plug this device into your comm unit and find that it is updated with a unknown contact.
I guess I'll just ping it then. Be like, hello.
Oh boy.
So you don't get a response for quite a while. And then a message pops up that says, "We will be in contact soon."
I'm just like, okay, thank you.
A while, and then an awkward, "You're welcome."
So as I said, I want to ask Tim Tom a few medical questions since he's currently going over my records. So.
Oh, he there.
Permanent nerve damage, atrophy, toxin.
Yeah. Well, you, if I recall, you mentioned you were in a stasis tube, right?
That's correct.
Well, the muscle atrophy may be a side effect due to long durations of,
Inactivity.
being in that inactivity. I would.
That I understand. I definitely feel weaker than I was before I went in. I
The
had trouble
the
doing things that I would have done effortlessly before they put me under.
yeah, the nerve damage. I'm still attempting to try and figure out what sort of toxin it is. Could I make a check to like do a blood sample and try to isolate the toxin?
Seeing as how you're dealing with raw information, I will say that you can observe whatever information is present. So go ahead and give me a medicine check.
Oh dear.
You get a sense that it is some kind of side effect from like spoiled cryopreservation fluid.
Oh, well. Look on the bright side. I don't think you were poisoned. I think you were just left in the tube too long, and a lot of your side effects are the result of that. The nerve damage is a. Tim Tom labels off a really weird like confubula, blah blah blah, medical word.
So I kind of smirk under my helmet and chuckle a little. You mean to tell me 1.5 thousand years inside of a cryotube is too long? Thanks. Never knew.
Oh yeah, and apparently that's looks like a majority of your. I mean, don't get me wrong. If I'm looking at some of these augments on you, if you were a baseline human, you would have died a long time ago.
Well, the point is I'm not baseline. None of us were. We were made for combat.
Tim Tom's like looking over like your record copy of the records he got. Yeah, I can tell that.
Regardless,
They really did some work on ya.
they had technology enough to purpose grow a new breed of human to fight in their war. Our war. It's kind of a little bit. I suppose the term is culture shock, coming here and seeing just the way things have changed. Sometimes for the worse, sometimes for the better. And moreover, how things have stayed the same. I guess it really does amuse me to some degree how I'm still able to speak with people. How language hasn't changed enough for this to be an unintelligible conversation.
Tim Tom kind of looks at you. He's like, well, I mean, I can essentially speak to anyone.
But just, I know you talk in my mind as opposed to with your mouth, but I mean, Ankos is human, and yet 1,500 years removed, we speak the exact same language. Strange
He's
to me
quite a.
how little things have changed in all this time.
Tim Tom looks at the slab. It's like, now, granted, I never got involved in all the genetic engineering and stuff like that, but I don't think I've ever came across a soldier quite like you there, bud.
Given how long it's been, unless there was anyone else like me, kept inside of a casket for almost 2,000 years, there's
An armored casket.
a certainty that I'm the last one.
The armored casket.
So, well, what are you gonna do? I mean, I hate to say this, the purpose you were built for, I hate to say this, but like, now that you're a free man, what are you gonna do?
I'm not free.
What makes you say that?
Still got obligations. We still have to hire a mechanic, we still have to replace that buggy, we still have to find spare parts for Doomtread. And then
Well, that's
once
not.
all that is done, I still have a set of armor to find. The fact of the matter, Doctor, is that I'm not myself. Whatever it is that came out of that cryotube is a shadow of what I once was. I can't do everything that I was made to do. I don't even think as sharply as I used to. My eyes don't pick up on the things that they were once able to. I'm
Do you
lesser than I was in every single regard.
do you think that's a bad thing?
Yes!
Well, I mean, you might not be able to do all this extra crazy goo stuff. I mean, I have a problem knitting, but I enjoy it. You know,
But you weren't purpose made to knit.
you're right. I wasn't. I am the product of genetic engineering. A series of sanctioned genetic mutations from like 2 generations ago.
Regardless, you would know better than anyone would right now. What happened to me? Is it reversible?
Tim Tom kind of pokes at the tablet, kind of reading through some stuff. Maybe. I mean, I've heard of some new stuff that there are things out there that can reverse neurological damage. It's a little price on the pricier side. You could probably get some augmetics that might be able to bypass the nervous system to directly to the individual muscle groups.
I'm nodding my head along with you as you say this. Right, right. I'm glad technology hasn't completely backslid, even though these savages seem to reject the notion of sapient AI. They at least have some degree of standards.
There have been a lot of troubles caused from AI within the syndicate.
I wouldn't have been alive without my AI.
Well, Mr. 447, you go ahead and I guess try and get some shut-eye.
I guess there's something specific I want to ask you. The toxin, or rather, I suppose, unclean blood I have from being in cryostasis will, of course, require advanced medical attention, as will the nerve damage. Atrophy, on the other hand, I assume regular physical activity will allow me to regain muscle mass.
In theory, yes.
My muscles aren't so wasted they're beyond regular repair, I would hope.
No, they wouldn't be like that fucked up. They would just be like inactivity cause muscles to shrink, right?
Oh yeah,
It's like, oh yeah,
the body cannibalizing itself.
yeah. Well, apart from the body cannibalizing itself, you could just, I don't know, go hit up the local gym, go run a few laps. I mean, there are some steroids you can take. I don't recommend those as a medical professional.
Going to stay away from substances, I think, unless it's cybernetic or something to otherwise bring my augmentations back up to snuff. As long as generally moving about and being active will be enough to start to heal, I'm comfortable with that. I want to return to being what I once was, and I suppose part of getting on that path is just going to be, well, living again.
A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
I reckon you're right. Thank you, Doctor. That's all I had.
All right. Anybody else want to do anything?
I'm just going to, like, once I get into the apartment, I'm going to kind of take a peek around and see what I have available.
It is fairly nice. The bottom level has like a little private reading area next to like tunable windows that you can kind of darken in case you get tired of the light outside. There is a glass staircase that leads up to a loft that has a bar and a full-on like double bed that looks very much up to your standards. You're glad that you're finally getting the attention you deserve.
Bougie fuck.
I was more concerned about off-world communication.
Oh, like trying to get a cusp on how easy it would be to leave.
That and to send a message, particularly back to the family, because my mother had wanted me to contact Kat.
Of course. Well, you don't have anything that is instantaneous, but you can net through a company that is designed to transport these particular packets of information to places they need to go. And it may not be instantaneous, but you can certainly send a message that will be couriered to another planet of your choice.
That is what I was kind of hoping for, and that's also a reason why I didn't really want anyone around in case vocal communication was a thing.
Right.
I'm just going to mention just kind of a very brief summary of what has happened, keeping out some of the more illicit activities and particularly certain names, but just kind of a brief overview and the fact that I've arrived.
So, you go ahead and record that information, which takes the better part of a 10-minute voice log. Do you want to include a video with that? That way your parents can see your face.
Fuck it, why not?
You go ahead and choose that package, and they are very pleased with your selection. This is all on an online basis.
Hmm.
And then they go to point out the cost, and it will be somewhere around the range of 120 credits.
Holy fuck!
How much is it without the video?
Well, we'd have to re-record all of that, but somewhere in the range of 70 to 80 credits.
Holy shit. Oh well,
Wow.
we'll do it without the video.
Very well. So you get done recording, and do you go ahead and pay?
Yeah, I'll go ahead.
So the thing that interests you is that your family's credit account, the one that they have specially built for you,
Hmm.
does not respond.
I'm just going to kind of take a peek at it and be like, what the hell?
It's like denying the transaction with your family's account.
In that case, I'm just going to kind of upset. I'm just going to use out of my own pockets.
Man, I can't use mom and dad's money.
75
Mhm.
credits.
75?
Yes.
Okay. 110. 115. There we go. Okay.
Kind of
I-
manifesting next to you, peering over your shoulder as you're sitting in the dark with your comms device. Are you talking to mommy and daddy? Isn't that precious?
I'm going to just take a peek at where the voice had come from.
You see that peering over your shoulder is the mist-like form of aspect.
I'm gonna get some water real quick.
And the
I will
voice
be
is
back.
coming out of your earbud.
Okay. I'm just going to continue moving along, and then once I'm back in this sanctity of my own room, I'm just going to just mention, well, considering they sent me, it would be rude not to mention that I've arrived. So, yes.
Quite a bougie way of life you've got going on. Did you call for room service?
I'm going to kind of, at the current rate, I'm going to get onto my commune and look at the accounts. I'm assuming that's where, it also goes through, is I can bring up an accounting thing, right?
You would have your own personal credit chip that has its own reading on the side of the device.
I'm gonna look at the one that, my family has given me.
It is giving you a in/a null value.
That is odd. I'm just going to kind of poke around at it and see if the reason for closure notice.
You're not quite certain.
Can I patch in through like my commune, kind of like a banking app, and see what's up?
Well, I mean, you go to basically look at whatever local banking system that's offering its services for these interplanetary transmissions or transfer of funds. And you find that this particular account has been locked for the time being.
I'm just going to kind of get a really angry scowl on my face and be like, what the hell is going on? I'm just going to kind of go over to the bar and are these complimentary stuff?
As far as you're aware.
I'm going to just kind of get one of the cheaper things that I know is there. Particular case.
Fair enough.
But-
You go ahead and pull out one of those nice drinks from the cooler and start drinking. What else do you want to do while you're here?
I'm just going to type out or get back on my comm unit and check and see if Kat had sent a message along.
Cat has not sent a message yet.
Okay.
Okay, I
At that
am
point,
back.
I'm just going to immediately attack the front desk and just say, what is the status on these lodgings?
Paid.
Okay.
The payment was received 2-3 weeks ago and was waiting for your reservation, so don't worry about that.
What are the drinks?
Oh, they're complimentary for the room. Already paid for with their particular package. I do hope you enjoying the staying.
It kind of cut off. What?
I do hope you are enjoying your staying.
I am. It is. The service has been excellent so far. Thank you. I'm just going to kind of sit back on the couch and start thinking.
Don't hurt yourself.
I'm just gonna kind of sit there with a glass in my hand, and I'm gonna contemplate why they would send me out here and cut off funds for me to actually do what they were wanting me to do.
So, as you are thinking, give me a perception check.
Okay. Where is it? There it is.
As you are pondering this particular scenario, you do recall the phrasing that your mother used was test. So you get a sense that this may be some trickery on her own part, although you don't particularly understand what's so challenging about this circumstance. That being said, Aspect does chirp in through your ear. Okay, now I'm being serious. Did you send somebody up here? Did you order room service?
I'm gonna kind of take a peek at the door and just see if there was any flashing.
No,
What makes you say that, Aspect?
because I think you have uninvited guests.
I'm going to get up and take a peek around the apartment with my gun out.
So you go ahead and pull out your rifle, and seeing as how you were chilling out in the reading room, which has a fairly nice love seat that you could kind of lean back in, you look up towards the loft with the flashlight mounted to your weapon, and see a figure crouched on the railing, like balanced like a cat in a dark, almost very advanced dark stealth suit. Their helmet is angular and kind of this swept back mask with 4 optical sensors, and you see several weapons mounted on their frame.
Who are you and what is your intention?
Greetings, child of the Scorpion. I am here to enact vengeance.
Oh fuck. Uh-oh.
Would I know that turn of phrase?
It sounded pretty fucking clear to me!
No, like the child of the scorpion, like perhaps a miss, like,
So, something that occurs to you immediately is that your father is known as the Scorpion,
okay,
and you know your father's business.
yeah. I'm just going to kind of just think, and are you sure this couldn't be settled over a pint?
You really going for the Shrek approach with this?
Just kind of holding up your drink in
Would
one hand.
would I recognize like the armor set or any markings on it?
Do you have culture?
Yes, I do.
Make a culture check. I will give you a bonus since this person is particularly related.
Oh dear.
So,
Let me guess, it's a 1. Oh no.
no, it is a natural 20 for a total of
Been
24.
real good
Why
this
would
game.
have so many
Fuck.
fucking gnats this goddamn game?
So you look at this individual, and you can tell immediately that they are cybernetically enhanced, based around like the way that their jumpsuit fixes to their actual skin and is so tight and very, very advanced in sort of its architecture. There were a few clans in your family a long time ago that were based around sort of animalized spirits, sort of based around their fighting techniques. In particular, the way that this individual has an angular helmet that sweeps kind of back, and then emerging from the back of their helm is this plume of assumedly artificial hair that seems to sweep back in kind of this almost a wild mane. You get a sense that this individual is definitely going to mean business because they were from a old clan that your father betrayed, more specifically the Okami, the wolves.
I know anything about their particular traditions, particularly around combat.
Because you rolled so well, you know that they used to fight in packs.
Used to.
However, it was definitely one of those things that led to the establishment of your family. Your father actually betrayed the clan leader, killed the most proficient of their kind, and ever since they have adapted into sort of a lone wolf strategy.
So nothing about like rights that I could, you know, upon for
How can I
combat.
change their cultural traditions
Yeah.
to make them easier to kill?
At what
No.
point is that out of character for my character?
So at this point, you kind of come to realize all of this is clicking together. You've been sent to this place without resources, getting your name out there. Your mother has sent you to a planet without support, with assassins that she has likely laid on your trail.
They try to get killed off by your own mom. Nice.
Yeah, that doesn't
God
surprise
damn,
me.
and I thought Finralder had bad mommy issues. Fuck.
Well, isn't this wonderful?
I must say it was very convenient of you to just spontaneously show up and the information to be dropped. I assume this can be a trial for your heads.
It is what it is, but perhaps I'm guessing I can't convince you that another day, perhaps.
No chance.
Well, thought I would ask. And I'm just going to kind of start pinging, like, just kind of... Do I have it? No, I don't. I'm still going to make a sleight of hand check to kind of send a general alert to the rest of the party and flip
Yeah,
off.
no, you kind of start leaning over and start tapping a button on your comm, just kind of like calling every party member. And you turn over and you see that the device is dead.
Well,
I'm just going to look at it like, well played.
you should have put it on the charger, buddy.
I figured you would try to contact emergency services or others of your kind, so I took care of that problem for you. Now, let's dance.
Oh
and
boy.
that is where we will end tonight's session.
Like this.
This is gonna be
GG,
fun.
no re.
This is gonna be fun.
All right.
Oh, good lord, man.
Next session's gonna be quite interesting.
Well,
Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and hop off.
I guess I'll go ahead and cut the
Matt.
recording here.
I thought I paused it. I thought I muted myself. I'm sorry.
My God, man.
It is now on.
I restarted the recording just to catch that. Matt admitted to pissing on Mike, just so that everybody going back to listen to this.
He doesn't have to admit it. We fucking heard it.
Oh no,
There's
we heard it. We heard it. Yes, you can hear it on the recording. He's pissing, but I also have him recorded admitting to pissing. So, you know. Anyway, session's over.